Hello, hello, everybody. It is that time again when we gather around the goat man, the sheep squatch. I like gather around the goat man better. I think it sounds better than sheep squatch. And we tell spooky stories. Everybody, click the like to tap the screen, send some likes, get some people in here. The guest box is open anytime someone's ready. We're going to wait for Chris, though. We're not bringing up any people yet. But you can feel free to hop in the box, and we will get this stream started. How is everybody doing? Did everybody have a good rabbit day? Like, I don't even know. Was that today? I feel like it was, but I'm not entirely sure. Um, how is everybody? How are you guys doing? I have a feeling that it's going to be a slow night just because I haven't really seen a lot of people on tonight. So. Hey.
Hi.
You see all the little Easter eggs on the screen?
Yeah, I saw them earlier. It's pretty cool.
That's so cute. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody tap the screen and send some more Easter eggs. And what else is it? Looks like there's,
Oh,
I don't know, stars or something.
yeah. Let me put my
Uh,
phone on silent.
okay.
All right.
Hey, Holly. Hey, Johnny. Please let me take you to Wendy's. You're so beautiful. Wendy's?
Oh,
Wendy's?
what?
Please. I don't eat meat. Um, Happy Easter. Thank you, Druid. Happy Easter to you as well. Damn, Daniel. How is everybody? I'm feeling spicy tonight. This is going to be interesting. You know what? I don't have any decaf. I'm going to be in a bad mood.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm
Yeah, it's
still
going to
laughing
be.
at the weddings.
I know. Can you believe that? Let me take you to Wendy's. Get
I've
out
never, I've
here.
never heard that one before. Oh,
Wendy's.
hey girl, let me take you to Jack in the Box.
Well, that's probably a little fancier, though, right? I don't know.
Oh God, no.
I don't know. I don't think we even have Jack in the Box around here. Um, froth. I don't consume potatoes or sugar, so you're kind of like you're missing the mark here, Johnny. You're gonna have to try a little bit harder, um, and then I won't laugh quite as hard when I say no. But I'm just giving you some shit because that's a weird thing to say. But thanks anyway, I guess. Thank you, Savage. Appreciate that.
It's a
See,
thought that
Savage
counts.
knows how to treat a woman. Savage knows. Thank you, Savage. I appreciate that. All right. I think we have a guess, but you know what?
We
The
do.
first one's usually a troll, so we're gonna see what happens.
Yeah.
Cause you know what? I don't even care if it's a troll. I don't even care. Whatever. It's fine. I don't mind at all.
Why are you calling me a troll?
Because we have this weird phenomenon that happens here that when I get a guest really quickly, as soon as I go live, it's usually a troll. But are you a troll?
No, I'm not a troll. I actually have a story.
Okay. Very cool. We want to
Okay,
hear it.
so this is I live in Waukegan. It's called Waukegan. All right, I was outside my house. I was doing some labor work for my house, and then I look at the sky. It was like around like 10, 11, and then I saw like like 10 or 12 dots like following each other in the sky. I think they were alien. I mean, I think they were UFOs, to be honest. Cause if it would have been a airplane or something, it would have been like blinking, and it wasn't blinking. And then
Yeah.
and then out of nowhere, like they disappeared. Like literally, they were like going, and then they disappeared out of nowhere.
Did they by any chance look kind of blue?
To be honest, they were white.
Why? That's really interesting. The only thing I would know, the only logical explanation I could think of is sometimes Starlink looks a little bit like that, but they usually are blue. So that's why I was asking if it was blue. But yeah, that's really interesting. Had
Yeah,
you ever
yeah.
seen anything like that before?
No, actually, not. But the weird part about it is that they disappeared, low key. No, like they disappeared. Like, just
Mm.
imagine looking at like 12 dots following each other, and then they disappear. What are you gonna think about that?
Yeah, it definitely sounds pretty wild. Um, very cool.
I'll see you later. You have a good night.
Thanks. Well, we're off to a
Yeah.
good start. That was a good story. That wasn't a troll. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Yeah, I was thinking Starlink as well. I mean, uh, when you saw it, Sarah, did it just disappear out of nowhere, or how did that go?
No, no, it actually traveled all the way across the sky. It was really, really crazy, and you could see it perfect, like all the way across
Hmm.
the sky. So,
Okay.
so yeah, it doesn't sound like he saw Starlink. He might have, seen something else, something spooky from space.
Yeah,
Hopefully,
a big UFO or several UFOs. Could
whole
have been.
bunch of them.
Yeah.
Will o' the Wisp, yeah, yeah, that's a good point, Drew. Tap screen, everybody. Send some Easter eggs. It's not hearts tonight. It's Easter eggs, and get some people in here. More Easter eggs means more people means more stories. Why was that so difficult? I don't know. Chris, how you been? How was your day?
Oh, I'm good. I'm in a food coma right now. I was my aunt had a cookout, so I went crazy.
Well, that's good, I guess.
Yeah, really interesting. Really interesting story there.
My story
Um,
is. Um, yeah, you may be able to come up in the box and tell us. Yeah, Savage, you have enough followers to join. If you want to come up, send a guest request and come up and share your story with us. If not, feel free to send me a message here on TikTok. Um, and I know I've got a bunch of messages. I will get to those tomorrow probably. I meant to today, and I've just been like super busy. So if anybody sent me a message and I haven't got back to you, I will get back to you. Just take me a little bit. I am slow. Thank you again for the roses. Okay, yeah. Yeah, just send me a message. That's fine. Guest box is open, guys. If anybody wants to come up and tell us a spooky story, it can be about the paranormal, the extraterrestrial, cryptid creatures, specifically Loch Ness Monster, or it could be Glitch in the Matrix. So,
that's a shame that you've been so busy. I wanted to take you out to Burger King. Maybe we can find some time.
yeah, maybe. At least you didn't say Wendy's. Oh gosh.
Holly, where's Cat Mom at? She hasn't been here the last two lives.
She was here, I think she missed one last week, and then she was here for the other one, wasn't she?
Um, I think so. Yeah, I think that's correct. Yeah, she's usually always here though. So something happened to her.
Yeah. I hope not. I hope she didn't get abducted by aliens or something.
Taco Bell
Um,
all the way.
Taco
With
Bell.
us.
Still better than Wendy's.
Oh, I
Grilled
can't do
cheese.
Taco Bell anymore.
How come?
I don't know. I just got so sick of their food. I can do it like every now and then, but back to back, there's no way. I can't. I think it's just like everything from Taco Bell's the same exact thing, just like in different forms.
Hmm.
So I don't know, but it does hit sometimes. So
Yeah, that is
I
kind of
might.
true. Misfit, thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. The guest box is open for anyone who wants to come up and talk about spooky shit.
Tell us your stories, guys. Don't be nervous. Don't be shy.
Yeah, don't be shy. Tell us about your spookiest spooky story. The scariest thing you've ever seen. It doesn't even have to be paranormal. It can be about something crazy but true, like real life true. Like I don't know, maybe you had like a creeper living in the walls of your house who would sneak out at night and steal your bagels or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Or somebody tried to take you to Wendy's on a first date.
Yeah, that's pretty terrifying.
Oh, we got
It's like,
somebody.
yay.
Hello.
Hello, welcome.
Which way? Yeah, I just can't hear.
Hey, are you okay?
Like there's a thing where you can join. And it's like,
Hello.
What is it? What, on my phone?
yes, it's like this thing.
I'm gonna drop you. I don't know if that was an accident because it sounds like we are in your pocket. If you want to come back, feel free to come back. Did that sound crazy to you, Chris? It was like all staticky and fuzzy.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So it wasn't just me.
Yeah. I think it was an accident.
Yeah, I do too. Really weird story. Yeah, come up in the box if you have a story. Feel free, jump in, come up, share your story with us.
God's chosen. You should come up and tell us about that. You only need 200 followers, guys, to come up here.
An Olympic Club, which is kind of a fancy place. Also haunted. Very cool. So what's everybody up to? What are you guys doing? Followers are useless? Okay. You're painting? What are you painting? Okay. Whatever, bro. Yeah. Making earrings. Cool. Easter dinner. I think I'm the only person in the world who doesn't celebrate Easter. Lots of little Easter eggs flying across the screen, though. They're so cute. I think that one was a peep. You don't either? Okay, good. So I'm not alone. I'm not the only one. Oh, cool. Very cool, Druid. I did not know that.
You know, Sarah, I was watching some true crime stuff about Kentucky before the stream because I was like, well, let me see if I can, you know, look up some stories in case we have some dead air time. But unfortunately, I didn't get to watch many of them. But yeah, there's some pretty wild stuff that's gone on over there in Kentucky.
Yeah, there is. I don't know that much about it. There's actually one not too far from my house. The only reason I know about it is because I found it researching for a paranormal story that I was going to do on here.
Uh,
Um, but I was like, I don't know if I want to talk about this one because it's kind of gruesome. But it's just like a couple of miles from my house. There was like a woman found in a field or something, and it was really gruesome. What do they call her? I think they call her. I might have to Google this. I want to say tent girl, but I could be wrong. That could
Hmm.
be another
That's
case, but
familiar.
I think it is Tent Girl. Oh, thank you for the
Oh.
little heart thing, Ron. Appreciate that. Um, yeah, it was Tent Girl. I guess that's a pretty well-known case too. I
Yeah,
don't know.
I'll have to look that one up. I'm not too familiar with it. Thanks, Ron, by the way, for the gifts.
Yeah, we appreciate that.
Yeah. Ooh, sounds good, Druid. Yeah, I ate so much today. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so tired and just drained of energy.
I think everybody is, and that's why I kind of think tonight's stream will probably be kind of a slow one. Tomorrow will probably be popping again, though, but tonight's probably going to be like kind of mellow and us just hanging out for a little bit because everybody's going to be tired and want to go to bed early, probably.
Oh yeah.
I just about guarantee it. It's probably not going to be too crazy tonight. Is Harry here? I didn't see him.
Well, we'll see.
Oh, Harry, you changed your profile picture. That's why I couldn't see you. I always remember people's profile pictures. I don't necessarily see their names. I see their picture, which is like, I don't know. Um,
Yeah.
Harry cooked for 4 hours today. That's a lot
Ooh.
of cooking.
Yeah.
Lots of cooking.
I can't cook to save my life, so
I can't either, but you know what? I don't like cooking, so it's just not for me.
yeah, same here. Not for me.
See multiple winds flying around my room. Hmm,
Hmm.
Chris,
Yeah.
did you read that comment?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh, okay. Yeah. That's interesting. Um, but you know what? That reminds me of something that I know that's a joke, but that reminds me of something I used to experience when I was younger. I would get like this. It sounded like somebody throwing a football right next to my head. Like I could
Mm-hmm.
hear this like strong like whoosh go right next to my ear, and I don't know what the heck it was. I haven't experienced it since then,
Yeah.
and I thought it was like something. I thought there was something wrong with me at first, but then I was like, could this be like a ghost or something? Like, what the heck is going on? Um, and then it's kind of funny because I called up a local paranormal team that lives in my town, and I wanted to like talk about it, and they were just kind of mean to me, so I just like hung up the phone.
They were mean?
Yeah, well, because I went on their Facebook, and it's like if you have anything you want to talk to us about, like paranormal wise, like feel free to call us, and it had their number, so I called them, and then the lady answered, and she's like, "Yeah, what do you want?" And I'm just like, "Oh my gosh, what the heck?"
Wow.
Yeah, like she was kind of rude. But yeah, I don't know. That's weird. I don't know if there's something wrong with my ear or something, but I've never had it since then. It was really strange.
Yeah, that is strange. Thank you, Ice Princess, for the heart puff. Um,
The heart puff.
yeah, it says heart puff. I've never seen one before, but you know what I think? It reminds me of those little pink cookies, the little puffy pink cookies, and they're like all marshmallowy and fluffy, and then like on the inside they're a brick. Just
Oh yeah,
dense chocolate and whatever. That's what it makes me think of.
I hate marshmallow.
I don't like
I do.
marshmallow either. I mean, I
Yeah.
like it, but I don't eat it because it's got like animal bone in it. So
Oh,
I
that's
don't like
right.
it.
Yeah.
I say, but yeah, that's why I don't eat it. Because it's not vegetarian.
Right. It's so
Um,
weird too. Like, couldn't they find something else?
I know. Gross.
Yeah.
Did you
Do you think
know
that's
that
possible?
life could potentially exist in the clouds of Venus?
No. Did you just read that?
Yeah, I sure did.
Hmm. Like germs, maybe, or microscopic.
Probably. Oh, we
Yeah.
got a person. We got a
Oh yeah.
person. Yay. That way I don't have to talk about the clouds of Venus.
Hi, Paul.
Hello, welcome.
Hey, what's up?
Not much. How are you?
Good, how are you guys?
We're good. You got a spooky story for us?
Oh, I got one.
All right, well, let's hear it.
Hold your horses. Nee.
I'm going to drop you.
No, just hold on, I'm just messing.
Okay. We're always on guard for trolls here because it does happen from time to time. So you got a story,
Yeah.
we want to hear it, but
I
if
was
you're
just
here to
messing.
troll.
I was just messing around because the background photo looks imposing. So anyway, it wasn't some long demon horn thing like that. So anyway, me and my sister, we would have BB gun wars up in the woods. And the one time we were shooting and the sun was starting to go down and we started hearing all this growling and shit. And I told my sister, I was like, Michelle, I'm going to check it out. And this thing jumped out of the bushes at me and started charging at me. And I remember shooting my BB gun at it and dropping it. I was 13. Alright, that wasn't that scary now that I told it. But anyway, that's what happened. Oh,
Is
I
that your
got
spookiest story?
Yeah, it sucked. Now that I heard it out loud.
Well,
Obviously,
we appreciate it.
Obviously, I lived.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate it either way. Thanks for coming up.
I think it was a bit.
All right. We got somebody else. Let's see who this one is.
Hello.
Hello,
Hello.
welcome. You got a spooky story for us?
Well, I do kind of. It's a story that remains unexplained to my own understanding. Haven't even lived through it. And what it was is a set of circumstances that occurred. A buddy of mine came over, and we were working on moving an appliance in my house. And then afterwards, we had a beer, and we're playing darts in the backyard, and just talking to each other, playing steel darts. And one of the darts hit the steel on the dartboard, and we both watched the dart arc toward us and then land in the yard just to our right. And we both watched it, bounce off the board, land to our right in the grass. And so we went over to pick it up. We're talking to each other, and it's not there. And intrigued, knowing that we're looking at it like maybe a 20-foot square area at the most that this dart could have traveled. We looked for a solid 30 minutes for this dart that bounced off the board in our visual sight, watched it arc into the yard, and then as if it simply disappeared, as if it went into another dimension. And looking around for 30 minutes, and finally, we give up. We drink some more beer. My buddy goes home. Well, that night, my room was just off that same area, and as I was going to bed, one of the things I do is I get prepared is I take out my dentures. I had denture at the time that one tooth in the front of my mouth, but it's a plate that's artificial, and I take the denture out. I usually put it in a cup of water or what have you. But I was next to my bed, I was tired, and I just set it there on the end table. And in the morning, it was gone. Now, that's happened before. Get a few beers in me and lose my teeth. Part of your face, not a good thing. But I know I had set it on that end table. So the first thing I did, there's only two other living beings in the house, and I asked my wife, and she says, "No, honey, I didn't touch it. Look around for it a little more." So I did, and then I had to interview my dog, who, and I know all his guilty looks, was innocent of making off with my denture. So what I did was I began to, in an intense search, starting at the place that I know that I left my teeth. And this went on for days. And I was having to go out into public with, part of my face missing because I could not find my denture. So each day I would begin a concentric search around that little table, all the way out of the room, through the entire house, looking for my teeth. And it went on for 6 days. And finally, at the end of the 6th day, my buddy came back and he said, "Listen, when you went in the house, we were drinking those beers and playing darts." He goes, "Who was visiting you that day?" And I said, "Well, what do you mean?" He goes, "Well, when you went in, there was a woman at the window who smiled at me. And then as you came past her, she followed you out, but I thought she left because she didn't come through the gate." So I said, "Well, no, nobody was visiting us. I'm sure of it." And I said, "Describe her." And so he gives me this description. And at the time, I didn't think anything of it. I just thought, well, is there a trick of reflection of the window or something of that? I didn't think anything of it. But 6 days later, having searched for my teeth for days and frustrated, I sat down in the bed and I said out loud, "Please, can I just have my teeth back?" And when I said that, I stood up and there my teeth were on the end table, exactly where I left them a week earlier. Now, one of two things happened here. And I mean, I have puzzled about this through the years, and I've thought of every possible scientific probability what really occurred. And there's only two that I can narrow this down to. And I want to also say, when my buddy came back, we found the dart laying in the grass in plain sight, an area that we had searched for 30 minutes that week before. And it was just laying right there, plain sight, right in plain sight, although we couldn't find it that day. And so after heavy consideration, I thought about the fact that, and I found my teeth, got my teeth back, got the dart back. I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, how could that have occurred? And I went through every possibility in my mind, even including the very rare scientific possibility of hysterical blindness occurring, but double the odds of that because my buddy couldn't find the dart either. That the two of us would be struck with hysterical blindness, a true malady that can occur, or something of the paranormal. And then it dawned on me the description of the woman in the window that my buddy saw. And I asked him, I showed him a picture of my sister, my little sister who passed away 2 years earlier. And he said, "That's her. That's the woman in the window." And he didn't know her. There's no way. I said to him, "Hey, that person you saw in the window, did she look like this?" And he said, "Yeah, that's her." So my sister was a bit of a trickster. And given the two options of a scientific possibility of hysterical blindness or my sister playing with me and tossing things into another dimension, perhaps momentarily, when I asked for my teeth, I got them back. And to this day, that is my paranormal experience, and I still can't explain it.
Well, that's a good one. I'll tell you that much. That's definitely a good one.
Yeah.
And it makes a lot of sense. You said your sister was playful like that, so yeah,
Yeah, and
that's
when I finally just, I sat down and I said, and I asked out loud, "Can I please just have my teeth back?" And they appeared. Not in my eye, not that I saw them pop into existence, but when I stood up and looked down, there in the place I had checked for 6 straight days running, sat my teeth. And I can't explain it, but that's a true story. Thank you so much.
yeah. Thank you for sharing that with us. We appreciate it.
You bet.
I
Well,
love
that's
that
pretty
story.
cool. I do too.
Yeah. Holly, behave yourself, Holly.
Yeah, that was a good one. All
Yeah.
right, guys, guest box is open. If anybody wants to come up and talk about paranormal stuff, talk about cryptids, Bigfoot, Loch Ness monster, Mothman. We've had a couple of Mothman stories on here. That's always cool because
Yeah.
you know, Mothman is Mothman, and
He's the best cryptid.
right. Let's see. I think is this the one that was up here a minute ago, and it sounded like that we were in their pocket.
Oh, listen, they did the Mothman film with what's that dude's name? Richard
Richard
Gere.
Gere.
Yeah, by Katanning, PA. I live like 24 miles away. I drove over that bridge every day.
Did you ever see him?
Richard Gere, the Mothman.
Either one would be interesting.
I'm just messing with you. No, I never saw the Mothman. But we have things in Pennsylvania where they're supposedly at abandoned missile silos.
Yeah.
You need to go to the West Virginia State Penitentiary, Moundsville Penitentiary. It's the most haunted prison in the United States, I believe.
Yeah, I'm
We
familiar
went
with
there like
Moundsville.
4. Oh yeah, I've been there like 4 times, bro. It's creepy as all hell.
Did you have any experiences while you were there?
Oh yeah, and I have it on video too.
Oh, nice. Can you tell us about it, or?
Oh yeah, whenever the first time we went was bust because it was like a Halloween thing. So we went and it was just people dressed up scaring you. And then all of a sudden I started researching it because MTV Fear did that was their first location they visited was Moundsville Penitentiary. If you guys are familiar with MTV Fear. If not, watch every single video. It was early 2000s. So anyway, the second time we went there, you pay like $50 and you stay overnight. You get locked in from like 7 or 8 o'clock at night till 5 in the morning. And there's only one room with power. And you just get to walk around the prison freely. We took like temperature guns, voice recorders, video cameras. I had night vision. That was new back then. They told us about how 2 guards were killed in the thing. And my wife, whenever they gave us a tour, my wife goes, "Oh, I didn't know you had security up on the top." And he's like, "We don't have security." She goes, "I saw 2 officers." He goes, "If you remember, I told you 2 officers were killed." And I was so mad because she didn't tell me until we got home. I was like, what? And then the prison where the dude for murder was like on death row, his name was Red. There's only one way in the basement in the death row. It's not a fun place because you're all in an encaged space, and the only way out the door slammed where his cell was. It was some crazy ass shit, dude.
Yeah, that place is really well known for the Shadow Man. Everybody says that they see the Shadow Man there, and actually, my paranormal team, one of the people on the team caught a picture of the Shadow Man. It's a really good picture too.
Oh, so you guys were there?
I wasn't on that investigation,
Oh, you should have
unfortunately,
been.
but my paranormal team went.
Yeah, I went into the cell where that what the hell was his name? I can't remember the guy's name that died. That's when the camera went crazy with orbs. I know whenever you rustle dust up, it looks like orbs, but I did something. I spit where the guy got shanked in the hole. And I said something like, I spit on your grave or something, and then all of a sudden, all these lights came at my camera. And I started freaking out. I was like, let's get out of here. Thank God I brought sage, and I burnt sage before we left and asked all the demons to stay there.
Yeah, any place like that that's got that much bad negative energy and emotions and all that, definitely spooky for
That's
sure.
that's a creepy ass town to start with. When you drive through it, you feel like you're in the 80s. The creepy
Yeah.
80s.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Well, thank you for coming up and telling us about that. We appreciate it.
Yeah, I don't have that presentation like the last guy. That last guy's presentation was beast.
Oh, you did good.
All
I'll
right.
just
Thanks for
tell him the
coming up, though.
truth.
Yeah, thanks, Paul.
No problem, guys.
Have a good night.
All right, guys, tap the screen, get some people in here. If anybody wants to come up and share a spooky story, we want to hear your spookiest spooky story. The scariest thing that's ever happened to you. It can be paranormal, extraterrestrial, cryptid, glitch in the matrix. It can definitely be about alien abduction. We really want to hear about that. Did anybody ever see that guy? What was his name? Mr. Something. He was here on TikTok. He started doing what was his name? I almost thought of it. He started doing streams about the same time that I started doing this stream. And he used to have just strictly alien abductions and like UFO sightings and stuff. So it was kind of like this stream, except it was just UFO and alien related. Mr. Carden, I think was his name. That was such a cool show, but I think he gave up on it or he quit or something. Um, but I was just curious if anybody ever saw him. Mr. Carden, I think was his name, but he did extraterrestrial. Did you ever see it, Chris?
No, I didn't actually. How long ago was this?
I want to say it was around the same time that I started doing this stream. So probably like, I don't know, sometime last year. I'm not entirely sure when I started doing these. It's been a long time ago, but I just took like a lot of breaks in between. So I would kind of go on hiatus, unfortunately. But
Yeah.
yeah, so it was quite a while ago. I don't know if he's even still on TikTok.
We have it good.
Yay.
Hello.
Hello, welcome.
Hello, how are you this evening?
Good, how are you?
Not too bad. So I guess I have three stories, but they're not really scary or anything like that.
Okay.
Most of them are from around the same time. My first, I think the first, the one that I guess would probably be the first in linear order, when I was about 5, I think. We had an older dog who basically his back legs were paralyzed, and so he would drag himself around and never left the house much. And one day he goes missing. nobody knows where the heck he is. And it doesn't make much sense that he could have gotten very far. And my parents searching all around for him. They spend, and we have about 40 acres on our property, so they're searching all around for him, and they never find him. They search all day. So my brother, and my sister-in-law were watching me, and after my parents got back in from searching for him, they said, "Hey, ask them, where the dog went to." And my parents like, "Okay, they've been inside the whole time, so why would they know?" But sure. So they say, "All right, well, where did he go?" Well, I saw him, before he before he died, or when he said that's not it. I saw him, and he wanted to tell us to say goodbye. He went to the lake, or he went to the water, and before he left, he told us to say goodbye. And there's a pond that's like 20 feet from the house. So like, okay, well, that must, maybe that's it, whatever. And they go and search it, nothing. And then not 6 months later, my dad is clearing out a pond on the very back end of our property, so probably a good half-mile away from the house. And he's like, "Hey, found the dog right where they said they would be." And it's just sort of one of those things like, well, I mean, I had no reason to know that, but also it was kind of irrational for that dog to be on that end of the property to begin with, just because it would be very hard for him to get down there. The second story would be a past life experience where my mom was visiting a work associate, and I was with her, and I was playing with my toys. They're doing their business, and partway through their conversation, I interrupt them and say to her work associate, "Oh, you have me to thank for being alive right now." And they're both like, "What? What's that about?" And so she prompts me to continue, and I say to her, "Yeah, well, if it weren't for me, you would have your dad would have drowned in the war. His boat went down, and I was the one who pulled him from the water, and if it hadn't been for me, you wouldn't have been born." And my mom just sort of like, "Well, that's crazy," but whatever. And so the work associate turns to my mom's like, "Actually, my dad's boat in World War II was sunk in the Pacific, and somebody had to drag him from the water, otherwise he would have drowned and died when I would have never been born." Let's see.
How old were you when that happened?
That one was, I think, between the ages of 5 and 7. I'm not for sure, though. And I feel like I had a third one, but I can't remember it off the top of my head right now.
Well, if you want, you could come back up and tell it if you need a minute to think about it. But that's really interesting what you said about like kind of past life type of thing there. I wonder if anybody knew the person's name by any chance.
Not, and admittedly, that's been a good 25 years ago, so I'm not for sure. But I have to, but I haven't really. It's one of those kind of things like I've always just kind of accepted and never really put much work into, investigating, I guess.
Yeah.
And and I've always, I've had several, like a ton of deja vu type experiences. Probably way too many. The one that sticks out most in my mind was one instance of trying to feed a baby chick and accidentally drowning it. And it was like really traumatic the first time, but then, having that experience of deja vu where it's like, why did I not remember this before, it happened kind of thing. Yeah, I don't know. I've always, it's like, I guess when you get used to having strange experiences, it kind of stops being so strange, if that makes sense. But
Yeah, I know what you mean.
it's like I know there's more stuff that's happened, but it's like I don't really remember it because they weren't eventful enough, I guess. Whereas they might have been more eventful for somebody else. But
Yeah. Well, that's very cool, very interesting. We appreciate you coming up. And if you want, hang out in the chat and maybe you'll remember another one. You might want to come back later and tell us about it.
yeah, totally. Thank you.
Thanks.
Snap.
Totally missed the Wendy's thing.
He did. Yeah, he did, didn't he?
Yeah.
I'm going to be salty about that all night. Wendy's. Come on. So, did you ask your grandma about some ghost stories for us by any chance?
Well, I did, but you know what? We haven't really had a chance to talk about them, but I'll try to get them as soon as I can, Sarah. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
I'll get them.
Grandmas always have the best ghost stories. I was hoping maybe she'd give us
Yeah.
some good ones to talk about. That's really interesting, though. I'm still thinking about being a little kid and saying, because kids say weird, creepy things all the time. And a lot of times it's like, the whole past life thing comes up. And that is really unsettling when kids talk about stuff like that. I think it's so fascinating. I don't know if you've ever had an experience like that. I don't know, should we put something up on the banner about past lives? Like, do you have a past life story? We could put it up there, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, I don't see why not.
I feel like people don't talk about that kind of stuff as much as they used to. You're going to need the replay. Tully.
They'll put it on YouTube eventually, Tully.
Yeah, it'll be on YouTube. I do have ghost stories, but I try not to tell too many of mine on here. Sometimes I tell them, just while we're waiting for someone to hop in the guest box. But I feel like I always end up picking the same stories over and over. So I think everybody's heard them, probably, like the good ones, the short ones. The ones that I can remember the details of.
Yeah, I don't really bought the whole past life thing, but I mean, because Nikki was talking about it there in the comments, but I don't know. I mean, I can't deny that some of the supposed stories were, I mean, like how do these kids know about World War II and what rank they were and how they died? Like I don't know. I don't really know what to think of it. I mean, most of this stuff I saw on TV, so I mean.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's really fascinating and very unsettling. I have experiences like that. I don't remember it, but my mom told me about it, as I was growing up or whatever. Apparently, when I was a little kid, I thought I was Hedda Hopper. And if you don't know who Hedda Hopper is, you would have to Google her. But she was an interesting lady. And it's so funny, Chris, that you ended up listening to that one interview of Paranormally Correct over on YouTube because it kind of tied into all of that past life stuff from that we were kind of talking about the other day. Yeah. Because, I don't know, Hedda Hopper, I guess, was kind of involved in a lot of that time period of stuff. But yeah, for some reason when I was a little kid, I thought I was Hedda Hopper. I don't remember saying it or like doing the stuff that I was doing, but my mom always thought that was kind of creepy and weird,
Yeah, interesting. Holly.
I know, he cracked me up so bad when he said you have a few drinks and lose your teeth, and I was just like, oh boy.
It happens to the best of us.
Yeah, he got me with that one. Um, I love how he told it so matter of factly too. It wasn't like, you know,
Yeah.
terrified of enclosed places. Yeah, you know, it's funny because I've heard a lot of people who claim to be psychic say that, you know, whatever you're irrationally afraid of in this life, it's because that's how you passed in a past life. And I'm
Mhm.
not saying that I believe that or anything. I'm just saying that I think it's interesting and cool. And it's kind of like something to think about and just kind of, you know, mull it over in your head a little bit. But I don't know. You ever heard that, Chris?
I have heard that. I think that's interesting. I'm really scared of heights, so maybe in my past life I like, I don't know, fell off a tower I was like working on or something. But I don't know. I don't really. I'm just. I don't buy into it really, but it's interesting.
Yeah. Well, you know, believing in stuff and finding it fascinating or interesting are two very different things. And they're
Right.
not mutually exclusive. But birthmarks where things happen. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a crazy one, Tully. I've heard of that.
Hmm. Yeah,
Guest
Holly,
box is
same.
open. Go, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just agreeing with Holly. Sorry.
No, you're fine. Guest box is open, guys. If anybody wants to hop in here and tell us a ghost story. Bitten by a dangerous spider in that case. Oh, interesting. Yeah, a
Have you
lot
ever
of
been bitten by a
people.
spider? Spider?
Um, I don't know. Probably in my sleep,
Mm,
I guess.
yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I have held a tarantula, like a little baby tarantula, before, and it didn't bite me.
Mhm.
And I don't know, for some reason I was convinced that it would, but it didn't. And so I survived that. But I think that's probably my only significant run in with a spider is the time I got to hold a tarantula. I survived though, so. But yeah, there's
Yeah.
no telling what spiders do to you when you're sleeping. They probably like use your face as a trampoline or something. Who knows?
I hope not.
Terrified of spiders. Yeah, lots of people are afraid of spiders. I'm surprisingly not afraid of spiders, but I don't particularly care for them getting in my house because of my animals, my pets and stuff. I have this weird irrational fear that they'll hurt my cats or my birds.
Yeah.
But other than that, I don't mind spiders at all.
Totally. I think that's BS. There's no way that's real.
How many they eat on average.
Yeah. I know Sarah's fear, guys. I'm not gonna say it on here, but I get to torment her with it, and it's really fun. Sorry, Sarah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you shouldn't have told me. Um,
I know. I totally should not have told you about that.
yeah.
Matt Portals is going to be afraid to sleep now.
Yeah.
No, I was just joking. The spiders, they, you know, if given a choice, they would probably just go like, I don't know, straight in your
Yeah.
nose. I mean, no,
Somebody
it's,
said the thing.
no, they didn't.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they did. I'm not
Oh
gonna say who,
boy.
but
No. um,
oh my gosh, we need a guest so bad. I'm gonna start begging Sarah like like that other time.
yeah, you go ahead. You go right
Please,
ahead.
please, somebody come up here now. Oh, it worked. It always works.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
Welcome. You got a spooky story for us?
Yeah, I definitely do. Okay, my name's Chad. I live right outside of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And I was visiting my girlfriend in the hospital. And I drove home and I went into my bedroom and I leaned over the bed and I was changing a channel on my television. I don't know what the heck happened, but something lifted me up off of my bed, physically lifted me up, and body slammed me on my back, lifted me high enough to where my hair hit my ceiling fan. And I came down so hard and broke my ring finger on my right hand. So I called my girlfriend up, and she was still in the hospital, and I said, "You wouldn't believe what happened." I said, "Something happened to me," and I was like, I went home and something body slammed me. I don't know if something followed me home from the hospital or what. I don't know. So 2 weeks go past. My girlfriend comes out of the hospital. I go pick her up, come back home. I go back in our bedroom again. And then all of a sudden I felt sort of like an electrical charge. That's all I can explain it. Like my hair on my arm stood up. It wasn't like chills, like physical electricity. And I was like, aha, I feel you. I knew something, there was like a presence there. I felt it on me. Like it really scared me. So I got my camera on my phone and I did like a panoramic like view, like video camera. I videoed a 360 in my bedroom. And here, I was like, I know I'm going to find something. I know I'm going to see something. You know? So I kept on my play, stop, play, stop, play, stop, play, stop, play, stop. Here, I caught the thing. I found it. I swear to God, it's not pareidolia. There is a figure on my door. I have it on my phone. I wish I could, if I knew how to work TikTok. I'm like almost 50 years old. I'm not like really computer savvy, and I don't know how to upload like the picture and the video to TikTok. Or I'll show you guys this. It is on my door, man. I swear to God. There is a figure on my door. You could see it plain as day. My girlfriend's like, you should talk to somebody about this. You should show somebody this. And I was like, I had somebody die in my house. And ever since somebody died here, like, I don't know if it opened the portal in my house or what, but something's happening here. Like, this is for real. I don't want to swear on the phone, but like, I swear to God, this is true. Like, I have like footage of it.
Did you ever have any paranormal experiences before that happened to you?
Not really. Not crazy like this. This was like I was physically attacked. Physically.
Yeah.
I mean, this is real. I live right outside of Pittsburgh. I have it on my phone. I wish I could I could show you guys now. It's like I have it labeled as the ghost on my phone. I have it on my phone. I wish I could just like.
Uh-oh. You cut out there for just a second.
You could actually make it out. Like it looks to me. It looks as if it looks like a Chinese something like. It looks Oriental with like an Oriental hat, like an old Oriental soldier or something. I mean, you can make out his whole facial features. This is wild, right, babe?
When did you say that you had this experience and captured the photo?
When was that? When were you? About 2 years ago. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean, now this is for real.
Any other strange stuff happen after that?
Nothing physically. Not really. Like it calmed down. Like I always feel like somebody's watching me and stuff, but that's like the major ghost story that I want to tell. Like I wish I knew how to show you guys this. This is wild. You'd be astonished.
Yeah, if you ever do manage to post it or whatever, share it somewhere, definitely get back in contact with us and give us
Yeah,
an
I'll follow
update
you
and
now.
we'll
Yeah,
check it
because
out.
oh my God, I wish I could. Like I'm on a roll right now. Like I wish I could upload this. Like I have a video of it and a still shot of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I wish I can show you guys this, but I can't do it right this second.
Yeah, well, definitely come back and let us know if you do post it. I guess, I don't know, as far as TikTok goes, the easiest way, just maybe look up online. Um, it's TikTok's a little bit confusing to get used to, just the
Yeah.
interface of it, but there should be some like videos, probably here on TikTok also that can kind of help you through it. But let me know if you get it posted, and I'll be interested to check that out.
Yeah, definitely. I go under C Dub. My real name's Chad, but yeah, I'll definitely keep you posted on it.
Alrighty, well, we
How
appreciate you
often do
coming
you
up.
guys go on here?
I'm on Sunday and Monday nights.
Sunday and Monday nights. All right, I'll try to get this posted and I'll get it to you definitely. Check
Alrighty,
this
sounds
out.
good. Well, thank you for coming up.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
Have a good night.
You also.
Very cool. I'd like to see that.
Yeah, me too.
Hello, welcome.
Hey, how y'all doing?
Good. How are you?
Oh, not too bad. So
You
I
got
got
a
a
spooky story?
kinda, yeah. So you know how like a lot of people say like when there's you know kind of like a ghost or bad energy or whatever else, bad omen around it. It always seems like it gets really cold.
Mm-hmm.
Well, less of a story, I guess, but more just I had an ex that was just like that. I just wanted to make y'all laugh for the night. I'm sorry.
Okay, so
No,
no
but
spooky story then.
no, I've got a few, but none that I feel like I want to share right now. But no, I just figured I'd see if I could get a little laugh out of y'all.
Alrighty, well, thanks for coming up.
Absolutely. You guys have a great night. All right.
You too. Guest box is open, guys. If anybody has a spooky story that is not about their ex, I mean, it could be about your ex. Does anyone have a stalker story? Can we say the word stalker on TikTok? I guess we're going to find out if the number plummets here in a minute.
Yeah.
I think that would actually be really cool. We should do like a third night out of the week where it's just like not paranormal. Tell us about like the weirdest people experiences that you've had.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Come up and tell us your stories. We want to hear your spookiest spooky story. Until then, Chris is going to tell us a story about something. Oh,
Really sad.
you're saved by the bell because we have a guest.
God. I can.
Hello, welcome.
Hi. I don't know about spooky. And the stalker. I've got both of those. One leads into the other, actually. Was living in Des Moines and was moving to Kentucky. And on a flight back, I stopped to get a pizza to go home with. And the guy behind the counter decided to write down my telephone number and stalked me for about 2.5 months. I finally got moved to Kentucky, and he stalked me there too. I don't know how he found me, but he found me there too. Not fun, but weird. Um, and then we moved to Kentucky. Um, we moved into a house. My husband and I, and two girls, moved into a house. It was, I don't know, about 150 years old, and this would have been in the 90s. And we got all the boxes into a large dining room area and kind of made a pyramid out of them in the middle of the room so we could walk all the way around them if we wanted to while we were unpacking. And I got up to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night, and I thought I bumped into somebody, and I said, "Excuse me," and he dipped his head, and I went into the bathroom, and I'm thinking, I wonder who that was. And I came back out, and I looked around the boxes, and there was nothing there. Um, I got up a few hours later. By the way, I was pregnant, so hence all the bathroom breaks. But I stopped at the bedroom door and looked at the boxes, and there was a older gentleman sitting there, and he reminded me of a southern gent. It was in Kentucky, of course, but they used to have porters when you would go to train stations or the airports, and the porters would sit with your luggage sometimes if you had quite a bit to help you get on. And this man seemed to be like a porter. He was protecting our boxes, and I told him excuse me again, and I went to the bathroom and came back out. And until the boxes got gone, he was there every night. My husband never saw him, but my youngest daughter did, but she didn't understand. And she came crying to me one night. She said, "There's a man sitting on the boxes." And I said, "That's all right. He's only protecting the boxes." And so she went by him to go to the bathroom and said, "Thank you for watching the boxes." And he said, "Yes, ma'am," to her. And I was like, wow, okay. So she came back the next morning and said, "He said, yes, ma'am," to me. So the boxes finally got unpacked. So I'm due in November, just about ready to pop. And I've got the crib in our room, got it all set up. And I start seeing this floaty white thing. I didn't put there was no face, no body, no nothing. It was just kind of a floaty white thing that hung around the crib. So wound up going into the hospital, came home, brought my son home and put him in there. And of course, getting up in the middle of the night to feed him, I didn't see anything. But the second week I was there, I was so tired and I hadn't slept. My husband hadn't been home because of work. He was known to do 20-hour days and come home, sleep, run back out. So I was doing it on my own with one child in school, one at home, and a new baby. And I was so tired. And it was like 2 in the morning, and he started crying. And all of a sudden, this white shifted into a really nice looking woman, all in white, kind of looked like a nurse, maybe. She had an apron on and one of the high over the breast aprons, and it was nice and clean. And she reached down and she just patted my son, and he went back to sleep. And so did I. And I thought, wow, that was really nice. And then a couple of days later, tired again, but she was there again. She was there for about 3 weeks. And I must have gotten enough sleep and enough energy and recovered from my surgery. I had a C-section, so I had enough time to recover. And she just went away, and I thought that was the nicest, sweetest thing I'd seen in a long time. Um, I'm from the South. I have moved all over the southern part of the states. I'm 66 and I've seen quite a bit. That was the nicest thing I've ever run into, I think, on any of my experiences.
Wow, that's pretty amazing, actually. I don't think I've ever heard an experience quite like that one. That's really
Yeah.
cool.
I thought it was really nice that, somebody, there was somebody there to help care for him, not just me.
Hmm.
And my oldest daughter had said she had seen a lady upstairs a couple of times in her sleep, had taken care of it. My youngest daughter also had a little boy in her room that would roll the ball out of her closet and back into her closet every night. And he would also move the toys back into her closet. The house was pretty alive at times. So, but yeah, it wasn't a scary place. Um, scary. One of the scariest was here in Omaha that we lived in. There was a corner in the basement that I wouldn't touch. I would go down. I'd have to turn on every single light, and even put a flashlight in that corner. But other than that, I haven't really had any bad encounters. I guess mine are. I think it's what you greet them with. I'm not afraid, so it doesn't bother me.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, and that's kind of my take on it too. Is like, if you're not really afraid of it, then you tend to have, better experiences, I suppose.
Yeah, thanks.
Well, yeah, we appreciate you so much for sharing that with us. Thank
No
you.
problem.
Have a good night.
Very cool. Yes, I did cut my hair actually. It's much
Ooh,
shorter, much shorter.
yeah,
But yeah, it dried naturally, so it's trying to turn into one big curly poof, unfortunately for me. But I don't even
yeah.
care, so like whatever. I didn't have time to do anything with it. Um,
The green
I'm gonna
screen's
make
eating
it.
your hair.
I know. You know what it is? It's because my chair. Well, you can't see my chair. My chair and my hair are about the same color, and I think the green screen has trouble seeing which one's which. And then there's a white wall behind me, so that doesn't help. Thank you. Appreciate that. I'm gonna make a cup of coffee. Ramble about something, Chris.
Okay,
I need some
Holly, you're so
decaf.
funny. Okay, go for it.
Get Holly up here. I can still hear you too, by the way. I'm not gonna turn my mic off, so.
Oh man, I was gonna uh, I was gonna plan to take over the live and kick Sarah out of here. Me and Holly were gonna take over. Right, Holly? Yeah, I've seen that video, Holly. That oh my gosh, I don't even want to sing it. I'll ask Sarah if she knows what it is when she comes back. See if she's seen that video before. Um, yeah. I love the smell of coffee, but I can't have it because I'm a wuss. I have like anxiety, so yeah, I can't have coffee. I'll probably die. What's up, investigator Todd? Hey, cat mama, where have you been, huh? You left us hanging the other night. We're
Hey,
gonna start blocking people. Oh, hi, Sarah.
can you hear me?
No, I couldn't hear you.
Uh-oh.
What? What happened?
I think my earbud died.
Uh oh.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
I don't know what happened. I was talking to you a minute ago because I didn't turn my microphone off when I went in the kitchen,
Yeah.
but it just stopped working. And I was like, "Can you hear me? Can you hear me?" And you never said anything. I don't. Oh God, I don't know.
Well,
Did it die?
they don't work when you leave your chair.
Yeah, they do.
Well, I don't hear you when you leave, so I don't know.
Okay. Well, anyway, I heard you talking about you're going to overthrow, and there's going to be a
No,
mutiny, and
no.
yeah, I heard all that, Chris. I heard it all.
Yeah, I think your earbuds messing up.
Guest box is open, guys, and I see Cat Mama and I see Raven and I see all kinds of people in here. I'm glad you all were able to make it tonight. We missed you.
Yeah.
Glad you're here, though. Um, Harry says I drink coffee all day, every day. I do too, but I've switched to decaf, but I don't have any like decaf for the regular coffee pot. I only have pods, so I'm having to like make some in the Keurig, but it's not as
Yeah.
good. Um, Harry, how's your ghost doing? Did they calm down any since last week? Gotta hit the hay. All right. Good night, midnight. It's funny. Good night, midnight. That
And we have a
sounds.
guest.
Yeah. Hello.
Hey,
Welcome.
Sapphire.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I think we can.
Okay, because it's telling me that I have to be on Bluetooth or something.
Are you driving by any chance?
No, I'm at home on my phone.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, we can hear you pretty well. So you got a spooky story for us?
Kind of. I saw the glitch in the Matrix. I don't know, option on your background, so I thought I'd, jump on and talk about that a little bit.
Awesome.
So, it's kind of, short story or whatever. Where do I start? So I was in an internship in 2013, 2012, and I had a mentor that was pretty awesome. And I followed them on Facebook or whatever, became Facebook friends. Just, wasn't really close with them, but, at that point in time, I was like adding everybody. So yeah, that was the thing, to like have as many friends as possible. But anyways, a couple of years after that, or I mean, I should say maybe like a couple of years ago, maybe in 2019, I think, I just happened to be scrolling, and I got like on his Facebook, his wife jumped on, or somebody, and they're saying, "We regret to inform you, like, or unfortunately, I don't know, like, our deepest sympathies," or whatever. Sorry to let you all know, but this person has passed away. And I was kind of shocked, because I was like, wow, I just didn't know what to think. He was older, so I mean, yeah, I guess it could happen, but just, it's never really expected, I guess. I mean, at the time, I guess, I don't know, kind of clamming up here, I'm sorry. So he passed away, and everyone was, like, commenting, saying, "Oh, condolences, we're sorry to hear, sorry for your loss." And everyone was kind of posting on his Facebook also, like, "We just heard, so sorry, blah 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 blah." And I was like, "Oh man, that really sucks," because like he was a good guy, like he was like just one of those like dad guys, whatever, like Hawaiian shirt and shorts, and just the greatest jokes ever, and just a great personality. It was like it was too bad. So anyways, I don't know if I posted anything. I just kind of in the moment, or like must have been driving or something, or I got distracted, so I couldn't really say anything. And then it just went out of my mind or whatever. And then maybe a year after that or two, he was back online. Like I don't think it was like an April Fool's or anything, because it didn't seem like a joke. Everyone was really posting about it and everything. And I remember telling a friend of mine, like, oh my God, this happened, who also was like a mutual student of his. And yeah, so anyways, like a year or two later, I jump back on and I'm scrolling and he's posting again. And I'm like, excuse me? Like, am I going insane? What's happening here? And so I jump on over to his Facebook, because I'm like, for all I know, like maybe it's somebody on his family, or, pretending to be, I don't know, pretending to be him. And so I'm scrolling and I'm scrolling and I'm scrolling, and I'm like, I swear to God, this man passed away. And so I'm scrolling and I don't see anything. Like years back, I'm in the trenches, I'm deep, like way going back into the files, and nothing. Like there is no evidence or anything, nothing about, even maybe I had mistaken his dad had passed away or something, but no, there was absolutely nothing, no evidence that he had passed. And so I'm just like, I now I know, I remember I talked about this with another person. And so when I tried to, reach out to them, they didn't remember. They're like, I have no idea what you're talking about. So I don't know, glitch in the matrix. Maybe I'm just insane. I don't know. Maybe it was a dream. I have no idea, but I swear on everything, this man had passed away. So I haven't I haven't talked to him or anything, and it's not really something, like you just message somebody out of the blue about, like, hey, I thought you died. Like, so I haven't said anything to him or his family or anything, but I'm happy he's alive now. for what it's worth, I guess. But yeah,
Yeah. That's really weird. I've had experiences where somebody'd say, "Oh, so and so passed away," and I'd be like, "Wait a second, didn't they already?" Because I thought, but what you're saying, like you saw all that stuff online about it, that's really insane. Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty like there was no questioning it. There's no question about that. Yes, this man had passed on, and his wife was telling everybody, like, I'm so sorry, blah blah. But now I go back and they're still together. Everyone's happy and he's alive, thriving, I guess. So I'm like, well, I'm glad. Good for him. Good for them.
Yeah. Wow. Well, that is really strange and actually very spooky. So we appreciate you for coming up and sharing that with us.
For sure. For sure.
Alrighty. Well, stick around and listen to some stories with us, and we might get some more good ones in here tonight. But we appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. That is so weird. That freaks me out.
Yeah, I agree with Tina. It sounds like a glitch almost.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. Hey, Mr. Wilson.
Hello, welcome.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Good. I noticed I don't know if it's on my end or if it was hers. I just noted she cut out a lot, so I just want to make sure you could hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Anyway, I listened to you guys for a while here and there, and I don't really talk about this stuff much, but I guess you sucked me in, so I'll share a couple stories with you. You there?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay.
We're excited to hear them.
The first one's pretty lighthearted. Years ago, I was working building wind farms, and most of the time, those wind farms are in the middle of nowhere. This particular wind farm was in North Dakota, north of Aberdeen, North Dakota, about an hour. And it's very desolate up there. And I was with a couple guys I was working with one evening, and they wanted to have some beers. So we were at a bar and had some beers and just kind of cutting up a little bit. We had to go to work the next morning, so figured we'd go to bed, but they said, hey, you're staying like 45 minutes away. Why don't you come stay at this house we're renting in this little town up the road? And that way you don't have to drive it. And I thought, okay, yeah, we'll do that. So I go to the house. It was in town, but it was an old house. And we walk in the back door. They're doing their thing, getting ready to go to bed. My buddy's just messing around in the kitchen. And I'm noticing very quickly that all of the details of this house, and I'm noticing little grandkids' pictures stuck in the molding of the doorways, and bowls of change with cigar cutters, and just all of these details that would lead you to believe that somebody was still living there. And there was just a weird feeling, and I kind of joked around. I said, and the guy's name was Jeremy. I said, what'd you guys do, Jeremy? Did you lock this old couple up in the closet or what? And he's like, oh, no. They've passed, but their kids are letting us rent it while we're working on the wind farm. And I said, okay. And I'm kind of walking around just looking at stuff. I go in this little side room, and I noticed the record is still on the record player. I noticed Grandpa's coats hanging in the closet like they were ready for church on Sunday. And I start paying more attention, and like there's one of those old green like glass vases that have the little bubbles on the sides, and just stuff from that era. And I'm noticing that there's no dust on anything. Now, working with these guys that I work with, I know they're not dusting the place. You know what I mean? They're working long hours, they're crashing, eating, going to bed, and that's what it is. And I said, doesn't something seem a little odd here? And he's like, what do you mean? I said, well, don't you find it odd that these children of these people that have passed, who own this house, I said, they haven't moved or taken anything from the home. He said, yeah, no, they haven't. And I said, and you don't think that's odd? Usually when people pass like that, their things tend to kind of move around a little bit. Anyway, okay, we move on. I go in the living room. He says, here's your couch. He pulls out into a hide-a-bed. We're pulling it out into the hide-a-bed, pulling the cushions off. I'm sitting down, taking my work boots off. And I'm looking around, all the pictures on the wall, and it's just, they're everywhere in the family. And there was the old tube TV that was a piece of furniture like they were when I was a kid, where you literally pull the knob out. And it was just picturesque of somebody lived here. Anyway, he says, hey, yeah. I said, Jeremy, this is just weird. He says, oh, come downstairs. You can see what's downstairs. I said, okay. So we go walking down in the basement, and he's showing me all the stuff in the basement and all the canned goods that are on the shelves and everything where they just canned out of the garden. And all of a sudden, we hear this noise. And I said, you hear that? And he said, yeah. And so we go walking upstairs and turned the corner, went through the kitchen, went into where I'd rolled the hide-a-bed out. And the recliner, the old green and orange colored recliner, the legs had kicked themselves out and up. Now, those old recliners, they're not like the ones today. I mean, there was, like, you had to literally flip it, over with force to get those legs to come out. So there was no way that they just came out on their own. And I looked at him and I said, man, what's going on? He says, well, yeah, I'll tell you. there's been a few weird things happen. He says, but the guy was a preacher or something like that. And, I don't think there's anything to worry about. He said, I will tell you that TV has come on a couple times and it doesn't pick up any channels. Well, those old TVs, it had the little pull-out knob, and you literally had to pull that thing out. It wasn't going to come on its own. It was old analog, equipment. And I said, yeah, man. I said, I think I'm out. I think I'm going to drive back home tonight. And so he's like, all right, I understand. And at the time I smoked back then, and he's like, well, let me at least come outside with you. We'll have a cigarette and you can go. I said, all right. So there was like the sun porch type setup on the back of the house that we came in through. And I just went to reach for that door handle, and that door came flinging wide open. Now, one tends to think, well, hey, maybe it was some kind of draft, whatever, but we knew better because it was just hard and fast. I went back, hit him. We both go landing on the floor. And I said, yeah, man, that's it for me. I said, I'm getting out of here. Good luck to you. So so I drove home, and it was like the middle of nowhere in the middle of winter. And I mean, normally you drive through the countryside, you'll see some lights on houses and stuff. I mean, it was desolate enough you could probably drive 10 minutes without seeing one light anywhere in the distance or horizon. But it was kind of a weird drive home because I almost felt like something was in the truck with me, and I was gripping that steering wheel extra tight because you just start thinking all kinds of things. But anyway, that was kind of my fun story that was pretty harmless. I do have another one if you want to hear it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, the next one's not as fun, but that was kind of fun. It was just like, whoa, what's going on here? But
yeah.
Anyway, the second one. So this happened when I was married to my now ex-wife, and I met her kids, things evolved. She was a good person, don't get me wrong. But she had a I don't know what you can say on TikTok. We'll just call it a game board, if you know what I'm referring to, because I'm not sure if you can you say OUGIA or whatever?
Yeah, we talk about Ouija boards all the time. Yeah.
Well, so she had one of those, and I was kind of surprised. I was like, really? And I was totally against that stuff. And I was like, why do you have that? And it's in here with the kids' games. Anyway, had I not known her before I saw it, I would have probably thought worse. I just thought, she just got wrapped up in something, I guess. I don't know. I don't get it. But so anyway, life goes on. Nothing happens. In fact, I told her I'd like to throw it out. So we threw it out. And we ended up moving out of state to a rental home. And it was an older rental home, nice place anyway. But it was probably a year later, she had a birthday party with some girls she worked with, and she had to go to Toys R Us when they were still around and pick up something for this birthday party. So, I come home from work, she comes home from work, and what she have in her hand, she has one of them darn Ouija boards. And at the time, I'll be honest with you, I was really struggling with my faith and things like that. And so I was like, whatever. Because she'd tell me stories and say, one day I'm going to show you, one day I'm going to show you. Well, I guess now's the time she thought she was going to show me. So anyway, I made some joke. I'm like, what do you got to do? Make armpit noises or what? I'm thinking, yeah, whatever. So I actually take it out of the box, sit it on the coffee table. And we ate dinner. I took a shower. Afterwards, we came in and sat down, and I opened it up and whatever, and we're like, okay. So she sat on the far side of the coffee table, kind of Indian style, and I'm sitting on the couch on the other side of the coffee table. And she basically says, I probably won't remember it exact, but she says, She says, "Who is this?" Well, I'll be honest with you. The thing starts moving, right? I'm one of these logical guys, and I'm looking and thinking, and I was already like, what? Because I knew it wasn't me, and I knew it wasn't her, and I could tell because the speed was perfect, and the direction that planchette pointed was perfect in the same direction. And I'm like, yeah, we wouldn't be doing that. So I'm like, the cat's already, curiosity killed the cat, right? So she says, "Who is this?" And it spelled out the name Clausen. And so I'm like, what does that mean? Well, anyway, she stops, takes her fingers off of it. She says, "Come here." Well, we got permission because this place had wallpaper in it to pull the wallpaper off. And so we went around by the front door, and she showed me on the wall where she'd pull the wallpaper off. And in writing, it said, this was installed in such and such year for the Clausens, and it said, "A couple who loves each other very much." And that's what was written by whoever put that in underneath the wallpaper. I was like, that's weird. I'm like, okay, well, all right. So we go sit back down, and she says, "Are you a man or a woman?" So I went to spell woman, and then she says, "How many of you are here?" Now I could be getting this out of order. And it said 9. And I'm thinking, whoa, it's a party up in here. I'm like, 9 for real? So then she says, "What are your names?" And it kind of went all over the place. Couldn't make anything out with that. But then so I kind of pipe up and I'm like, well, Mr. Mrs. Clausen, whoever this is, I says, "Is it okay if we stay here for a while?" And it immediately went to no. So I'm thinking, that's great. We're not even welcome in here with these 9 whatevers. And I said, "Why not?" And if I get this right, okay, but it immediately goes to, in a more direct version, unlive her. Okay? So I'm looking across the table. My wife at the time's face just goes white. We'll say it goes gray. And here's the thing. I was like, okay, I'm about done with this. But I said, "Unlive who?" And I swear to you, my ex-wife's name was Judy with an I, not with a Y, and that's exactly what it spelled. She totally goes white, gets up, walks out the back door. I said, enough of this. I stood up, ripped that thing in 2, went out back, threw it on the grill, and lit it up. Well, apparently there's rules to this, and nobody informed me. Okay, I discovered this later. And I don't know what makes the rules, but apparently from what I read, that's the worst thing you can do. So needless to say, from that moment on until the time that I left that house, it was haunted. And everything from shadow figures and shadow people. And I don't mean, you'd see stuff in the corner of your eye and all that, but I mean blatantly, like right in front of you, walking across the dining room. It liked to make noises for some reason. I don't know if it thought it was funny just to make noises when I was doing number 2 on the toilet. It moved things around. You always felt like something was watching you. Not always, but at times. And what was weird about it is that it's almost like your sixth sense, you knew, because there were literally times where I felt like I could turn around and point to you exactly in the room where it was at. In fact, there were times I'd probably look silly if somebody caught me on camera because I'd get tired of it and I'd literally turn around and yell at it, like, what the hell do you want? And anyway, I don't know if it's a spiritual strength or what it is. I'm kind of the type of personality that I'll tell you where to stick it, and she was not. And it really messed with her head. A lot of nightmares, a lot of fear, a lot of visions, a lot of, to the point where we literally took her to a doctor who prescribed her some kind of, psychological drugs. And she started to really decline and just, like she was just having a lot of mental issues. And we ended up trying to take her back to the doctor again and saying, hey, these pills you gave her, they're not really working. And the response that he gave was, well, there's only so much I can do before somebody needs to go to, like a mental hospital. And I'm thinking, well, I'm not gonna take her to a mental hospital. She's not, she's not crazy. But it got to the point where I literally took off 2 weeks of work and blew my vacation for the rest of the year because I didn't know what she was going to do. I didn't know if she was going to harm herself, all these things. And, it inadvertently, unfortunately, led to a divorce, or her running out the door and such. So there I was with this house, and when that kind of stuff happens, there's a lot of change usually takes place, and I was moving back home and taking another job, but I had to, because the lease wasn't up, I had to pay for this place. And I worked out with the landlord, hey, I'll pay for it till you get it rented. So on the weekends, I'd drive 6 hours to keep, to like repaint it and try to get it back to where I didn't owe him any money. And I remember being up there one weekend when I was trying to finish up things. And it was a nice like spring day, and I wasn't thinking about anything and just painting. I think I had the radio on quietly in the background. And all of a sudden it was like, bam, like you could just feel it. And it was like, and I literally paused and I'm like, how you doing? And I literally told it, I said, hey, I'm just getting ready to get out of here. Before long, it's all going to be yours. And I kept doing my thing. And I ended up staying there that night. And then the next day I finished. And I had professional cleaners come clean this place. And when I had everything done, it was like a Saturday night, like midnight, 12:30, 1 a.m., something. I was finally done, checked every cabinet, every drawer, everything. And so I go to walk out the side door of the garage, and I shut the door, and I stick the key in the door to lock it. And all of a sudden, I just hear every door and cabinet in that house just opening and closing and opening and closing and opening and closing. And it happened for like 3 or 4 seconds, and then it stopped. And I literally froze at that point. And the key was in the door, my hand was on it. And I turned the key, locked the door, and I said, I'm gone. I said, I'm out of here. And I got in my Jeep, and I left, and I never went back to the place at all. But, it was definitely an experience, and I'll be honest with you, I feel like it had a big impact on the end, the end result of my marriage, unfortunately. So I would definitely tell people not to mess around with that stuff for sure. I did see her later, before everything was finalized through the courts. And, I cared about her. I just said, she just looked at me and she said, something was in that house. And I said, I know. I said, how you doing now? She said, better. I said, good. And life went on. So that was kind of what happened there.
Wow, that is intense, to say the least.
Yeah, and the thing is, when you Now, I've had a couple experiences since then, and a couple not too long ago, but I can tell you that I've learned once you're there, once you feel it and then you don't feel it, you know what it feels like. And so I do have a sensitivity of when I have a certain feeling or that I know that's what it is, where I might not have known that before.
Yeah, that makes sense. I definitely get that.
And I think I'm probably boring people, but I think
No, you're not. Everybody loves your story.
no. Well, and here's the thing, and I would tell people because this is nothing that I would tell anybody to do. Trust me, like ever, And I've got boys, and I've shared that. And I've said, look, just don't ever mess with it. Leave it alone. I don't care if you don't believe it or not. Just leave it alone. And I know what happened with me is because there's now a curiosity of what is this, and I want to know more. And I had this extremely strong urge to buy books on ghosts and buy books on witchcraft and buy books on all these different things because I wanted to know what it was about. And I could feel it, just feel this. It was almost like literally like something was trying to pull me. And I just had to one day just pray about it real hard and just say, leave me alone, and just shut it off and run from it. So, yeah, I mean, that's just my take. I'd tell anybody, just stay away from it. So anyway, that's all I got.
Well, we appreciate you very much. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Yep, you bet. Thank you. Enjoy your live.
Thanks.
Have
Bye.
a good night.
You too.
Wow.
Wow.
I saw everybody in the comments like, hey, what's that noise? But did you guys notice it was like perfectly timed for dramatic effect though? Like there was a noise,
Ooh.
yes, but it kind of added to the story.
Yeah. Maybe it was one of those big aluminum sheets that people shake to make that thunder effect.
T. Johnson, I'm right on the same page with you there. I definitely agree, but everybody's got to do what makes them comfortable, I suppose. So, but yeah, definitely, as someone who loves that type of stuff, definitely know what you mean. Hello, welcome.
Hi, how are you guys doing?
Good, how are you?
Good. I just stumbled across you guys. I'm actually a professional paranormal investigator out of St. Louis.
Very cool.
But one of my best stories actually didn't even take place on an investigation. My ex-girlfriend, she used to tell me she would hear voices coming out of the living room at like 1:30 in the morning. And one night, we were sitting in the living room, and the couches, she had two couches, and they were put together L-shaped with a table at the corner. And I was sitting at one end of the couch. She was asleep, had her head on a pillow on my lap. Her 15-year-old daughter was laying on the other couch, and we were watching a movie on Netflix. And a disembodied voice came from right in between us, about 4 feet in the air, and it sounded like someone talking through a walkie-talkie. We couldn't make out what was said, but it was right there in between us at like 1:30 in the morning, about the time that she said that she kept hearing voices from the living room. And I mean, I've seen, and I've got pictures of tons of other stuff, but that was like literally 3 feet from me, a disembodied voice.
So, did you have any other experiences with that particular location afterwards, or was this kind of like it just the voices, or?
I saw a mist in her bedroom one time. It passed between her and I. She was looking in the mirror, getting ready. We were getting ready to go out, and I was sitting on the bed, and a mist had passed right in between us. But other than that, it seemed like it was always late at night whenever anything ever happened. So you'd hear a lot of noises and things like that. But I've been to a lot more haunted places than that, and seen a lot crazier things than that. But that one just stood out because that's the first time I'd heard a disembodied voice, or that was actually the only time that I heard something so clear right in front of me.
Yeah.
Because I've got pictures of shadow people and everything else. I used to give tours at the Lemp Mansion. I'm sure you guys are familiar with that place. So
I
it's one of the
think
top.
maybe.
It's
Yeah.
one of the top 20 most haunted places in Saint or in the country. I was given a tour and had cigar smoke literally go across in front of all the people in the tour, like it walked from one doorway to the other doorway. I mean, just weird things like that. I've got a ton of stories, but nothing.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to throw some more stories out there, definitely go for it. Yeah.
Oh, geez. The first time I saw a shadow person was actually the first night I became an investigator. We met at this building that we're not allowed to talk about the name of the building because they don't want people to know it's haunted, even though they run investigations out of the building. I don't understand, but it is what it is. There's a main room and then a hallway and stairs going up in the hallway. And this is a very large building. And we were supposed to meet up in the room across the hallway. As I came in and made the left to go across the hallway into this next room, I happened to glance up the stairs, and there was a shadow figure standing at the top of the stairs. And as soon as I noticed it, it turned and went the other way up the other stairs. And I spent probably 10 or 15 minutes going, okay, that had to have been my shadow. Like, where did I walk? What light shined on me that I made this shadow up there? And I could not figure out, where that shadow came from. I spent a long time because I'm a big debunker. I'm a firm believer in, debunk everything. And if you're left with unknown, then yeah, you're probably looking at paranormal. So, but I've got a picture of a shadow person in a basement in Waterloo, Illinois. I was filming in pitch black video. One of my other investigators was taking flash photography. He took 3 shots while I was filming video. On the second frame that's lit up on my video, there's a shadow figure leaning out, and you can see a perfect silhouette in the back of the room. No reason for the shadow to be there whatsoever looking at us. And on his picture, it was like a smoky silhouette. And that building that I was saying was like really crazy haunted. We had a guy, John, and I never believed in psychics, but John just knew too much. Like, he would tell you things that he should not know. He was given a seance, and there was 3 of us investigators sitting on a couch looking towards the back of the room. And we watched a shadow walk across the back of the room, and we all looked at each other like, did you guys just see that? Because we all just kind of turned to each other at the same time because we all watched it walk across the back of the room. So I've seen a lot of stuff.
Very cool. Yeah. We get a lot of shadow people stories in here. So, yeah, we love those. Did you happen to notice by any chance, because this is something I've noticed that everybody seems to report when they see a shadow person, is that it looks darker than pitch black dark?
Yes.
Did you kind of have that? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So the one that I have in that basement, it's still pretty dark because it was at the far end of the basement, but it was super, super dark. Like, I mean, yeah, like really, really, really dark. And then up the stairs, it was really dark up the stairs. And then obviously the shadow was darker than that because I could see it standing at the top of the stairs. Mm-hmm. So, and that's a pretty gnarly thing when you see them in person.
Yeah, absolutely.
You don't know what to think.
Yeah.
We actually did an investigation last night and had some really strange and exact stuff come across the ovilus. The house we were in, there was a couple of old casino buckets, and we were talking about the casino buckets sitting there because they were glow in the dark. And right after we were talking about them, the ovilus said, "Celebrate coins."
Wow.
So that was actually just last night we did that investigation. So
Oh, that's really cool. Well, we appreciate you coming up and sharing that with us. Very cool stories.
And if you guys are into, looking at the paranormal stuff, if you check out your local area, because there's a lot of places in the country that will take you out and give you equipment and let you do a ghost hunt. Like they'll give you everything you need to do a ghost hunt, take you to a location, and let you have at it for a couple hours. So if it's something you guys are looking into doing, absolutely, I'd go out there and look at it.
Yeah, definitely. I'm actually a paranormal investigator. I have been for a long time. A little bit retired right now, but Chris still needs to go ghost hunting, and I know we've got some people here tonight that probably like are interested in ghost hunting. So,
Right.
um, but yeah, we appreciate you. Thank you for coming up.
Thank you. Appreciate you having me.
Thanks.
Have a good night. That's cool. I didn't know about that.
I didn't either, actually. Very cool.
Hello.
Hello, welcome.
Hi. I've had several instances happen to me. We moved into our house, and my first experience was something I just heard a little girl a couple times. My then boyfriend, husband now, thought I was crazy. So I didn't really say anything about anything else until my mom and 2 kids that she was raising moved in, and they like catch glimpses out of the corner of their eyes or something. Nothing major until my mom passed away. And I talked to my mom like as if she was still there with me. And I know that sometimes they say, you know, when you are think you're talking to one spirit, you inadvertently let something else in. And I think that's what I did, because things started going kind of haywire in my house. Our PlayStation messed up, our TV messed up, and our phones were doing weird things. Everybody knows that you have your own personal phone, you have your, like, say, Facebook account on it, and when you click on it, it just goes straight to your inside your Facebook. Well, we'd pick up our phone and we would go to Facebook and it would say, please put in your password. And we're like, why is it doing that? That's weird. It shouldn't be doing that. And we'd go to put our password in and it wouldn't work. And we were like, we know that is our password. Why is this not working? And we get frustrated and we, put our phones down or something. And then like 30 minutes later, we pick it back up, go to hit Facebook, and we go straight in. I had apps on my TV that would just randomly start playing by themselves, which I found some good music like that, but that's, beside the point. But just weird stuff like that. Things being moved around. I do believe my mom was there, though, because there was a picture in my bathroom that she had bought me. She was so proud because she bought me a bunch of this stuff that I've been looking for at a yard sale. And it happened to my niece first, and then it happened to me. Because my bathroom is literally as wide as my arms, spread my arms apart. That's how wide my bathroom is. So there's no missing anything. But I opened the shower curtain, and I step out, and I turn to the right, which is the mirror, and the picture's behind me, and it's hanging by one hook swinging. I checked the hook out. I checked the picture out. It was fine. I put it back up on the wall. Well, then it did it again, but this time I opened the curtain, I stepped out, looked in the mirror, and behind me it was hanging, but it was not moving, and it never made a sound, and it never happened again. But I think that one was my mom. But all the weird stuff that was happening and starting to happen in our electric appliances messing up, well, also me and the boyfriend at the time, we started like getting on each other's nerves more than ever, and we was having a lot of strife between us. And my family, some of my family's got gifts, and like I felt like there was like an opening in my living room, and I talked to somebody and they said there was, and they said they closed it. I don't know if they did or not, but I didn't think much more about it until it like kind of got worse. Then I started mentioning it to like friends and stuff because I was afraid to, because they, laugh at me. And some of them did, some of them didn't, until they started seeing it for themselves. Their phones started messing up and doing weird things, and they'd see our TVs doing weird things, and then they'd lose something, and then it'd appear right there, and they were like, wait a minute, this is, what's going on? Well, fast forward several years, with things going on throughout all that time, I was in another severe state of depression, almost like I was whenever my mom died. But my nephew had accidentally shot himself in the head, and I was grieving over that tremendously. And I felt very oppressed, and just like everything was just the worst. Even if it was just bad, to me it felt like it was the worst, and it was bringing me really down. And once again, it was having an effect on my marriage. And then I had a phone that took random pictures by itself. I knew how to use this phone. I'd had it for 2 years. I don't know why it did this, but it took 16 pictures by itself. And on one of them, they're all blurry because I was walking around, but on one of them, there's clearly a face on my husband's legs. Clearly. It looks evil, but I was told that it wasn't. But then, a little further down the line, me and my husband were driving back from a friend's house. We had this big dog house in the back of the truck. It was real late. We get pulled over. I was joking around, playing around. I kind of leaned over towards him and snapped a picture of the blue lights. Forgot all about it. Didn't even think nothing of it. Was going through my pictures like a month later, and there's a face behind me that kind of looks like the guy on Halloween. I can't remember his name, but Michael Myers kind of looked like the white eyeless face. But then there was one behind my husband that looked straight up demonic. And fast forward another few months, we have cameras around our home. I'm sitting in the room with the camera system on the TV, and all of a sudden I noticed in the garage there's like a black spot on the camera. At first I thought it was a bug, like a fly that's like on the camera. But then I was watching it, and it just disappeared while it was still on camera. It didn't go off to the sides or nothing. It just disappeared. And I was like, wait a minute. So I backed that camera up, and I went through it. I, fast forwarded, rewinded, put it on slow-mo, and you can see this black shadow, just a ball, manifest out of nowhere, goes flying across the screen. Then you see a bigger black mask looks like it crawls out from the side of the picture, walks around a chair as it stands up, and then it just disappears. I had a psychic tell me, she didn't know about the video. Whenever she came to my house, she stopped at my garage and said, there's something bad in there. I was like, yeah, we know, we got to show you a video. And she said she ended up getting rid of it. But I have the videos on my TikTok. There's 2 of them. One of them is slowed down extremely to be able to see the black ball manifest and shoot across. And then
we're getting some really bad background noise. I don't know if there's anything you can do about that.
Okay, that may help. I wish I could tell you the rest of it, but go check out my videos on Facebook. I'm actually at work and I have a customer, so I have to go.
All right, thanks for coming up. Oh wow. Okay, sorry about that, guys. I don't know what that sound was. Was it real bad for you all? Sorry about that. Okay. Hey,
Hello,
Elodie.
D.
Hi, how are you?
Hello, welcome.
Oh, thank you.
We're
Hi.
good. How are you?
Good, thank you. I don't know why I felt the need to get on this channel. I don't usually get on these types of channels, but I would say from a very young age, I've always seen different types of entities. I remember around 4 or 5 years old, the first thing I had seen in regards to spiritual world is a big ball of light coming out of a TV. And I've always connected Archangel Raphael to this entity, to this ball of light.
I don't know. I've always felt closely connected to Raphael. I consider him to be my archangel, as I feel like he's always kind of looked after me. And ever since then, I would say I've always had I'm a very strong clairvoyant, and starting when I was a kid, I knew things about my life years before they happened. So I'm a single mom, and starting off from a very young age, I knew I was going to end up a single mom. And there's other things about my life I knew years before. I've always, not always, I've grown up in haunted houses. In fact, the apartment that I live right now is haunted. I would say there's ghosts that come in and out of my place, and there's always random things that fall out of place in my little space over here. Um, uh, on my channel, I have this. I have a few videos on my channel where I speak about this. There is quite a few times where I really feel it's because you tend not to you concentrate on the road, and because your concentration is not so much on thought, it's more about the external, what you see on in front of you. I tend to see ghosts, spirits, uh, or even sometimes I feel like when I drive past by a spot on the freeway, I know that there's going to be a deadly accident that's going to happen down the road. But I see ghosts. I think it's just you tend to concentrate on on the road and you think less. And I think that's why I actually physically see ghosts. Now, I would say that, for the most part, I feel ghosts. I don't see ghosts for the most part. If I were to really, really concentrate on something about these entities, I get to know them a little bit better. Um, I've always had very good intuition. In fact, if you put me to the test, I have a couple of videos on my channel where I I have the almost like this ability to find angel numbers anywhere I go. So if I were really pressed about finding an angel number, I'll go to a random spot in a large parking lot and find these angel numbers. And always it's always usually messages that I have there. Obviously, with angel numbers, there are messages that are tied with that. But I have this unique ability to find these angel numbers because I forgot to mention when I saw that ball of light, that ball of light entered into my body and it knocked me out. And I was unconscious for several minutes after. I have no idea how long. I just remember family members waking me up after this ball of light entered into my body, and I just could not remember what happened there on in. Uh, and I think years after, I started seeing all sorts of numbers. Um, I, like I said, I started seeing numbers. I started knowing things that I'm not supposed to know. I just, I have a crazy, I have an ability of precognition. Uh, it's, I don't have, I'm sorry if I'm lacking in ghost stories.
Yeah, we
But
kind of just do ghost stories and like paranormal stories here. We don't really delve into that side of spirituality. But we appreciate you coming up. I'm going to
yeah,
move on to the
yeah,
next guest because we got a few
sure.
people waiting. But thank you so much for your time. All right, guys, I'm getting to it. Everybody tap the screen. We've got 200 people in here. Everybody tap the screen, send some hearts, or in this case, Easter eggs. Get some people in here. We need some ghost stories. We want your spookiest spooky story. That's what we want. Can be any of the topics above. That's what we're looking for.
Hello, Drea.
Welcome. Welcome. Are you with us? No? Maybe. Maybe it was an accidental. I'm going to drop you. If you want, you could come back. Carolina.
Hello.
Hello, welcome. Not sure what's going on there. I don't know, guys. It's wackadoodle time. It's wackadoodle time. Do you guys know that audio? Hello, welcome.
Aloha. Hi.
Hello.
Hi, you got a spooky story for us?
Okay. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. So this is probably 2007. I'm with my girlfriend and she's dating this guy. They just started dating like probably 2 months before and they're fighting all the time. His family owned this old bed and breakfast. And this place is in Old Town Aptos, California. So we come in and we check into the room. And this had a lot of stories of haunting. Crazy stories of haunting. Doors would open. There was a bunch of like spiritual stories. So the bed and breakfast, old Victorian, was haunted. So these two are like fighting, and it's Christmas Eve, and I go to sleep. So I go to sleep, and I have this dream, and it's down, and it's very like old towny. We're downstairs, and there's this huge like holiday party going on. But there's this little girl, she's like 12. She has her hair braided. And she's staring at me. Everybody's moving. There's, joyous stuff going on. But she's staring at me. And I wake up and I go, weird dream. And I go back to sleep. And so then I see this little girl. Nobody's around. Same girl. She's about 12. She has like that old, like turn of a century, like white dress on with the little, whatever the neck piece is. And she's got 2 braids in her hair. And I see her and I wake up again. I go back to sleep. She's leading me up the stairs. I can't tell you how many times I went to sleep and woke up and she was just leading me up the stairs to a certain room. And then finally I wake up and I go, oh my God. And I talk to my girlfriend and the boyfriend. And he goes, you just gave me goosebumps down my arms. The people that his cousin that owned this old Airbnb, or not Airbnb, but old bed and breakfast, he said his cousin had the same reoccurring dream where that girl would lead him up the stairs, and she would actually lead him into the room that was across from ours. And it happened for like 2 months straight. And every night he'd have that dream. And then finally he's like, I'm going to pull up the floor. And the wife was like, don't pull up the floor. Don't touch it. And then he ended up pulling it because, you have this ghost dream. He ended up ripping up the floor and he found a braid. The same color girl's hair, like dark brown braid that was underneath the floor. He tried to research anything from 1800s because that was the clothes she was wearing. He couldn't find anything of a murder or anything, but he actually found her hair underneath the floor.
Wow, that's amazing. That reminds me of a story that I heard not too long ago about a place nearby me where they said that they found body parts in the floorboards, and not for like a macabre reason, but because the person who had built the house was a dentist. But yeah, it's so strange to run across something like that. Very crazy, very
No, I
spooky.
could feel her energy. I am an empath and I have psychic gifts. I didn't know that at that time, but I just sat in the corner and prayed for my friend that just passed. I was like, take this girl from this place and get her out of here, because she was stuck and she just wanted to be known and was trying to get her story told. But like the darkness and sorrow, like she was leading you and saying, here, my hair is here. Like she just wanted closure. That's all. Okay, God bless you all. Happy Easter.
Thanks for coming up. Tina, yeah, I guess it is kind of a weird thing to hide, but I can't remember. I have a video on it. It's on my TikTok here somewhere. Something about it. What was the name of the house? I think I uploaded it around Thanksgiving of last year. It's a house in Richmond, Kentucky, and the original owner was like a dentist, and I think his wife. No, wait. Maybe women weren't allowed to have jobs back then. I don't remember what his wife did, but anyway, they had like there was stuff that they found in the floorboards of the house, and it's like they weren't deranged, and it kind of made sense why it was there, but I guess it kind of also doesn't make sense. Like, why did you keep that? I don't know. It made sense at the time, but I don't remember the details. I guess is what I'm saying. um. But yeah, they found like shoes, they found teeth, they found, what was it? There was something else. They also claimed that, oh, I don't know, whatever, it doesn't matter. But it was a cool story. Very cool, actually. Everybody tap the screen, send some Easter eggs, some Jesus eggs. Hello, welcome. Uh-oh, somebody's snoring. Are you asleep?
Hello?
Uh-oh. Oh, are you there?
Yeah. All right, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right, so here's a crazy thing. I was born in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and we lived in an old like farmhouse that was on the top of this hill, and now it's like a famous national landmark, and no one can tear it down, all this stuff. So while we lived in there, we had an uncle that was staying with us that was a little problematic, whatever, and he would just listen to heavy metal all day and draw demons, and was like super into like heavy metal and art and all stuff. Anyway, so he got some teeth pulled and he wouldn't stop bleeding. And so like he wouldn't leave his room, and he just kept putting a rolled up towel in his mouth and just filling the whole towel with blood, and then like getting a new towel, wouldn't leave his room, and everyone was like worried / like, you gotta go to the hospital. He wouldn't go to the hospital. Okay, so my room was right next to his, and at night, and my parents' room was right down the hall, and at night my parents wouldn't let me go downstairs to drink water from the kitchen because they were afraid I would like fall down the stairs. So they said, if you want to drink water at night, you gotta like suck water out of your toothbrush from the bathroom. So I'm like getting up in the middle of the night and to like go
They
drink
did.
water.
Wait. Time out. Wait. Your parents literally told you to suck water out of your toothbrush?
Yeah, like kid style. Like you can't go downstairs in the dark at night to get a glass of water. It's like too dangerous. You know, it's like an old farmhouse. It's like a huge house with rickety stairs. So they said if you want to drink the water, you gotta like load your toothbrush with water and suck the water out of your toothbrush, because it's like 2 doors down from my bedroom. Okay.
Why couldn't you just suck it out the faucet then, though?
Well, it's like I was short. You know, it's like I can only reach by like reaching my hand out. And
I got you.
It's some country stuff. Okay. So I'm getting up in the middle of the night, and I'm whispering a little because I don't want to wake my family up. And so I'm getting up in the middle of the night to go suck water out of my toothbrush, and my bedroom door is open. Okay, the whole house is asleep, and there's like light coming from the hallway, like in the shape of a door, going into my room. There's like a, the light from the hallway and the door shape is going into my room. And I'm walking across my room with one foot in the air, literally about to step into the light, okay? That's on the floor. I'm gonna get goosebumps while I say this. And coming from my uncle's room was on the right side of my room, and my parents' room was down the hall to the left. And then like across the hallway is the staircase, and you can see like, the railings of the stairs, they're like wooden posts and all that. And so from the right side, coming from my uncle's room direction, there was like a gelatinous pink, like Pepto-Bismol pink. When like someone puts a t-shirt over their face and it looks like a human face in torment? Like, you ever seen like someone put a t-shirt over their face and it has like skull eyes and a mouth going like, oh, okay. So it's like,
yeah, I think so.
Okay, so like I think of a human face covered in a t-shirt, making like the classic Scooby-Doo, like, oh, face, right? But it's Pepto-Bismol pink and like gelatinous jello clear, okay? And so it has a head, it has shoulders, and there's no arms. And then when it gets down to about, it's like the height of a human, and when it gets about to the knees, it turns into these like curly fries, telephone cord curly tendrils, like dozens of them, like more than just 2, 3, or 4, like 12 or 20 old telephone cord curly fried tendrils. Okay, so like the whole thing turns into this mop curly pink tendril things that are floating off the ground. None of them are hitting the ground. And I know this because I can see the rails of the stairs behind it still. Like I can see the tendrils end, and I can see the rails of the stairs still. And it doesn't look at me, but it has like this tormented face, and I see it. And as soon as I see it and it passes like in front of my doorway, before it even disappears from my doorway, I know exactly where I want to be, which is back in my bed, okay? But my bed is like over 8 or 10 feet away behind me. I've already started walking across my room, and I was so petrified, and like my inner core self was so in terror. I'm still on one foot. I'm like in the middle of walking, about to walk into the light. I see this thing pass in front of my doorway, everything I just described to you, and on that one foot, instantly I jump backwards 8 to 10 feet all the way across my room back into my bed, because of how bad I wanted to be away from this thing. So when I jump back I fly all the way back across my room into my bed, and I put the covers over my head and body instantly as soon as I hit the bed, on some like kid stuff where I'm like, if the thing's gonna like attack me or whatever, I at least don't even want to look at it, like type thing. And so I pass out, black out. I wake up the next morning. I have no recollection of this, okay? We moved from there to Texas when I was 7 years old. So this happened between the ages of like 4 and 6, okay? I don't remember any of it. The next day, for years and years, we moved to Texas. Years after we're in Texas, I'm at a Boy Scout camp. Waiting for like our troop master to pull up the bus. Okay, I'm already like 12 or 13 years old. And I have this brilliant idea, like, hey, we got rope and we got all our packs on our backs. Let me take this rope out of my bag. I got a fully loaded pack in my bag, okay? I mean, like my bag is fully packed. It weighs like 15, 20 pounds. So I take the rope out of my bag and I tie it to my backpack, and I say, hey, we're gonna play a game. And I'm gonna spin this backpack around my head real low to the ground, and everyone has to like jump over it when it comes around. So like I'm doing it, and everyone's jumping over it. Some people are tripping and falling, and everyone's laughing, and it's like so fun. Everyone's like, oh man, this is amazing. Like, you just invented this cool new game or whatever. So then I'm like, I want it to be my turn. So, cause I'm the one spinning the backpack. The first time, so I tell the person, okay, you gotta kind of like squat low to the ground, and you gotta spin, and it's hard to do, but like keep the bag low to the ground. Cause like when you keep it low to the ground, the bag tumbles and like rolls in a circle, like just like 2 inches above the ground. It's easy to jump over the rope in the bag. So the first,
I've got to ask: is this paranormal? Where is this going?
Yeah. Okay. So.
Okay. Land the plane for us, because we're getting lost here a little bit.
Okay. So all right, here we go. So years later, we're playing the game. I say I want it to be my turn, and then I spin I hand it to my friend. My friend spins the bag around, and the first time around, he spins the bag like head level, hits me in the head with my own 15, 20-pound Boy Scout pack, knocks me out cold. Okay? It hits me so hard, it makes me remember the pink Pepto-Bismol tendril ghost from years and years ago in Michigan. I instantly remember it, okay? And so they shake me awake, and I wake up screaming, "Mom, Dad," because like the last thing I remember from when I was 4 or 6 years old was that it was heading to my parents' room, okay? And so I wake up screaming, "Mom, Dad." I don't even remember. I can't even recognize that I'm like surrounded by my scout troop because I'm instantly only like, it's the newest, freshest memory that just got unlocked. So I think it just happened. So I get up and take off running, looking for my parents because I think the pink tendril ghost is going to get my parents. Okay. Then everyone laughs at me. I'm all like bleached white, pale, all this stuff. Anyway. So then I calm down, the rest of the camp happens, nothing happens. Okay, so fast forward, I'm 18 years old in DeSoto, Texas, graduating from high school, and all of us friends go to this house where this guy had murdered his family and on Halloween Eve, and we're gonna film a movie there as like a fun joke or whatever. So we're in this abandoned house upstairs, and everyone's like, "Oh, we're gonna film," one of my friends is dressed as a witch, and we're like, "We're gonna film this movie scene for scene, we're just gonna make it up as we go." And so there's like a hole in the floorboards in this house where this guy has murdered his family years and years ago. It's abandoned, all this stuff. And so I'm like, "Hey, flash your light in that hole in the ground, let's see if there's anything in there." I say it just jokingly, okay? And so when we flash our lights under the floorboards of this abandoned murder house, there's a book in under the floorboards. So we're all freaking out. And we get a long stick. We finally pull the book towards us. After a couple of minutes, finally grab it. And we open the book, and there's all this crazy language that we can't even decipher. It looks like all these crazy shapes and all this stuff. Anyway, it turns out to be an old German math book from like 18 whatever, and it has all these like diagrams.
Oh, I think he got abducted.
Yeah, I guess he
Pepto ghost.
did. I don't even know. Like at this point, what is life? I don't know. Um, all right, let's see what yeah. Hello, welcome. Hello, hello. Are you with us? All right, I'm going to drop you down. I think you might be sleeping. If you're
Yeah.
not sleeping and you have a story, feel free to come back.
Okay, so here, let me finish it. So we open up the math book, and there's a bunch of just like math problems in there, and it's like an old German math book, and everyone's just like laughing or whatever. And so we go down to the shed where the dude had murdered his family, like in this like shed or whatever. And there's still like brown, cakey, dark, syrupy, dried blood on the floor of this like garage shed thing or whatever. And me and my friend are sitting there trying to like think of a scene to film or whatever. And then me and him all of a sudden get like super.
I don't know what's going on with the last guest that was just on here. You keep cutting out. We do have another guest. Should I bring them up, Sarah?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, definitely,
There.
definitely.
Oh, okay. All right. Let me bring up the next guest. Hey, Shelly. Hello?
Hello, Shelly. Are you with us? I don't know what's going on. I think we're having some kind of problems. Shelly,
Yeah.
can you hear us, Shelly? I'm gonna drop you. Um, okay, I guess there's nobody there. I don't know. We're having some wackadoodle problems right now. I'm gonna give it just a few minutes and see if like everything kind of straightens out because I don't know what's going on. Everybody tap the screen, send some Easter eggs. We got about 30 minutes left for the night.
Hmm.
Spooky stories. We want to hear them. Ghost stories, alien stories, Loch Ness monster stories. I don't know. I have no idea what's going on right now, Chris.
Yeah, we have some issues every now and then, but it won't last for the rest of the live, I don't think.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Oh,
Yes, we
Sarah.
want. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. No, you go
No,
ahead.
no, no. I was just gonna
Ah.
ramble.
I was just gonna say really quick. Well, we have this dead time without a guest. I was looking up some Kentucky true crime cases on YouTube. There was a person, who was going around separating heads from women's bodies. I don't know how much I'm trying to be careful here. And he did this with several women, and he was never caught. So that's pretty crazy. I'll have to send you the link so you can check out that story. But yeah, pretty creepy. I always think it's creepy when I hear some horrible stuff like this, and then it's like he was never caught. Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
is creepy. What part of Kentucky was that in?
I think it was Louisville, or I don't know how to pronounce that. Louisville,
Louisville. We call
Louisville.
it Louisville.
There you go. I don't
Yeah,
know, guys.
if you're not from Kentucky, it's probably Louisville or yeah, I think that's how non-Kentuckians say it. But if you're from Kentucky, it's Louisville.
Yeah, don't make
Louisville.
fun of me, Tully.
Is Tully making fun of you?
He will, and Holly too. Guys, leave me alone. I can't even speak. Okay, I have no business co-hosting anything.
You're doing fine. I
We have
send
guests.
we do. I send Chris that meme all the time where it's like the Kardashian mom with the camera. She's like, "You're doing great, sweetie." I send
Oh
that to
yeah.
him every day. Just it's kind of like his version of the kitten poster, the hang in there poster. Just
Oh,
joking.
it's Mr. Wilson again.
Hey guys.
Hello.
Hello.
Welcome
Hey,
back.
I have a guest, so I was just going to mention something I didn't mention earlier. Maybe get some feedback. I talked about the house and the Ouija board and all that kind of stuff with the ex. One of the things that would happen there, and I never really got a good grasp on it, besides all the shadow figures and everything else. I remember one night sitting in the dining room, just eating dinner. I think we were eating spaghetti or something, and we had three windows side by side in the dining room that looked out into the backyard, and we had a patio, and it was probably about 8 feet above the ground, maybe just a couple feet off the patio. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, came a whoosh, and this big bright flash of light, like an orb, but I'm not talking like the little floaty orbs. I'm talking like mass energy. In fact, it like lit up the whole backyard for a second. And the ball, it was white with, I think, like a light blue tint. And it wasn't like an explosion. It was like a whoosh, like energy. And it just disappeared. And I remember going out on the back patio, walking out in the grass. I'm looking down at the grass. I'm looking down up at the sky. I'm looking around the yard, trying to figure out what it was. To this day, I have no idea. I've seen a couple things online, but like usually when people talk about orbs, they're like little orbs floating around a house or something. I mean, this thing was massive energy. In fact, my wife at the time had asked a neighbor she was talking to the next day. She didn't tell them what happened. She said, "But did you hear anything last night?" And they said, "Yeah, we heard something outside, some big noise, and it lit the backyard up for a minute." She's like, yeah, we heard that too, saw that too, but she didn't go into detail. But I didn't know if any of your listeners had any input, or you guys had any input on maybe what that could have been. And I'll let you go. You might have somebody in line.
Oh, you're fine. Actually, we did have last week. We had, I think it was last week, wasn't it, Chris? We had some people talking about something like that.
Yeah, I think so.
Do you remember
It was
what all
obviously
it was?
energy, and it had to be tied to what was going on there. I don't know. I didn't know if anybody had any more specifics on it that were more in the know than what I am. Hell, I didn't know there was rules to these Ouija boards, So, anyway.
Yeah, was it? Did you say it was like a smaller object, or was it? I mean, you don't think it was like a UFO, though, right?
No, it was the ball was probably about 2 foot wide. I mean, it burst and went away, but the main kind of core of the ball, it was about 8 feet in the air, and it expanded like the main part of the light was like 2 foot wide, and then the light came off of it, and then obviously it disappeared, but it was just whoosh, really loud, like a whole block, like a whole street block would hear it. It was that loud. And it was like I said, the noise, it was very energy like. It wasn't like an explosion, it was more like energy whoosh, you know what I mean? So but yeah, that was another weird thing that went on that I didn't know if anybody had any responses to or any knowledge about.
Yeah, I can't remember. I'm trying to remember what they said, but we had several people last week talking about like a similar phenomenon, and it was
They call them ghost lights.
well, no, I was saying that they sounded like ghost lights to me, but whoever it was up here talking about it. They had like a different name for it, or like a different, I don't know. Somebody in the comments
Because I
might
thought
know.
ghost lights were more, they weren't, I thought they were more like lights, just
Yeah,
more
yeah.
floaty lights.
Generally
I mean, this was
speaking,
energy.
yeah. Generally speaking, the ghost lights tend to be like kind of a phantom light, like
Yeah.
But
Okay, well, you might have
yeah,
somebody in line. I just was curious if anybody had any comments on that. Maybe they do down below.
yeah, yeah. They might in the comments, but we appreciate you. Thanks for coming back up again.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, ball lightning. Yeah, and somebody mentioned something earlier about something like that, and I also had a very similar experience. It was ball lightning, but I don't know if ball lightning really makes a lot of noise. So there's that. But
Mm-hmm. Hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
hello, welcome. Yes, we can
Yes.
hear you.
Okay, I've actually got two stories. One is from when I was little, and the other one as an adult. The one when I was little, I was probably about, I'm going to say 6, maybe 7. I had lost a tooth, and I was really excited about it because I was going to get money. And, my mom kept telling me, well, you have to go to sleep, you have to go to sleep. And so I went to sleep, and I woke up because I felt something hit my bed. And so I rolled over, and I didn't see anything. I didn't see my mom. I thought I would see my mom, but so I was drifting off back to sleep again, and I felt it again. Well, this time it kind of scared me because I was more awake, and I was already scared of the dark. I slept with a nightlight, and my bed was pushed all the way to the wall and up into the corner. And I looked down at the end of my bed, and I seen like a little head, and then I seen eyes, and I started getting scared. And I remember pulling my covers up over my head, thinking, I'm gonna hide. It's not gonna see me. And I felt my bed shake again, and I pulled the covers down just past my eyes so I could peek, and I seen it again. And I couldn't scream. I was so scared I couldn't scream. And the next thing I know, the end of my bed started coming towards me, like it was trying to roll me up in my bed. And I started screaming, and it stopped, and my mattress fell, and it ran around to the side of my bed, and it looked at me, and it kind of like, I don't know if it grinned or growled, but I could see teeth. I could see its whole head, and it hopped out my window. And at that point, I started screaming, and my mom came running down the hall, and I told her what happened, and I said it went out my window. My stepdad grabbed his gun, and he went out the back door, and he went all around. It was a trailer. He went all around the trailer, and he came back, and he said, "There's nothing out there." And I said, I know what I saw. I know what I saw. And my mom was like, "Oh, you just had a bad dream. You were dreaming that it must have been the tooth fairy." And I said, "If that's the tooth fairy, I don't want to ever lose another tooth." And from that day forward, I made my mom put my bed on the floor so nothing could get under it. And I never would stick my tooth under the pillow again because I thought that was the tooth fairy. And the only way I can describe what this thing looked like was a gremlin, and not the cute gizmo one, but the other ugly one.
Uh-huh.
And even when I had kids and they would lose a tooth, I would sit with them till they fell asleep, and then I would get the tooth and take it because I didn't want that thing coming back. I know, that's kind of crazy.
Now, have you ever heard of a duende by any chance?
Uh-uh.
Let me pull this up here. It reminds me of duendes, and the reason that I know about them is somebody over on my other platform one time was like, "Hey, could you make a video about duendes?" Because I think I saw one time, and so I started researching it, and it kind of sounds a lot like what you're describing. It's spelled Duende, so duende, kind of just like it sounds. You should look that up and see if it's kind of kind of akin to what you experience because it really sounds like it.
Okay.
They're like, I don't know. There's a lot about them, but yeah, that's pretty spooky.
Yeah. Even as an adult, I still don't. My bed is still on the floor.
Yeah, yeah, I
I
don't
mean, it
blame
just
you.
scared me that bad. But
Yeah,
would you like to hear my other one?
yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So, this happened a couple years ago. My boyfriend and I were fighting, and I had stepped outside because I was trying to get away from the situation and let him calm down and stuff like that. And when I went outside, he locked me out, and so I couldn't get back in. And I was like, well, I'll just walk to my son's job because my brother was supposed to pick him up. And this was about maybe 2 miles from where I was at. And it was about 10:30 at night. And so as I start walking, I'm telling myself not to be scared of all the noises I'm hearing, and I'm scared that maybe a dog's going to come out and chase me or something. And all the way towards the highway, there's pole lights and, because it's a neighborhood. But once I hit that side road to the highway, it's dark, it's pitch black. So I'm kind of humming to myself and, speed walking because I was scared of the dark, and my phone was on like 2%, so I couldn't use it as much as I wanted. And every now and then I'd turn it on and turn the light on and, flash the road and make sure, nothing was on the road. And so I get to the off ramp and I get on the 4 lane. And as I'm walking across some gravel, and I hear what sound like footsteps. And so my heart kind of starts pounding a little bit, and I'm really straining to see if I'm actually hearing footsteps or if I'm just really trying to scare myself. And I stop and I don't hear anything. So I start walking again and I hear it. And I'm like, don't scare yourself. And I was like, well, I'm just going to turn around real fast and see if there's anyone there. And so when I turned around, there was nobody there. And I was like, man, I know I heard that. So I keep walking and this rock hits the back of my foot. And excuse me for my expression, but I'm like, oh shit. And I start getting scared. And so I start trying to walk a little bit faster. And as I'm walking, I could hear something in the grass kind of parallel to me. And I'm like, this has got to be a dog. And so I yelled, get away, go on now. And as I'm walking, I still keep hearing it. And like I told you, it's like 10:30 at night and there's hardly any cars out, but this car is coming. And I'm like, well, when the car passes me, it's going to shine over into the grass. So, if there's something there, I can see it. And in my head, I'm going, do I really want to see what's out there? Or, do I just keep my focus on the road, keep looking straight ahead and just, keep going? So I start humming out loud and singing, and the car passes and I look and there's nothing there. And so I'm like, okay, well, as I'm walking, I still hear something in the grass moving and I'm like, crap. So I kind of start running and it sounds like it starts running with me. And I'm like, there's something there. Oh my God, this is where I die. And I'm thinking of all these scary movies, in my head. And I'm going, nobody knows that I'm walking. I'm just going to be gone and nobody's going to know. And I'm getting close to this bridge and I'm like, well, when I get to the bridge, I'm just going to run because I don't know what's under there either. And so when I get to the bridge, I take off running and this car is going past me. Well, then it stops and it backs up. And in the car are a girl driving, a guy beside her, and there's a guy in the back seat. And the guy rolls down the window and he's like, hey, you want to ride? And I was like, no. I said, I'm going right up here to the hospital. That's where my son works. I said, he gets off in just a minute. And my brother's coming to get him. And he was like, do you want a ride? And I said, no. And the back door opens and the little guy that's sitting in the back, he's all bug-eyed looking at me and he's shaking his head like, yes, at me. And the girl says, I think you need to get into the car. And I just kind of look at him and I'm like, okay, but I'm just going right up here. Is that okay? And she's like, yes, just get in the car. And so I get in the car and the guy slams the door and they take off. And he's smoking a cigarette and he's blowing smoke out to her and he's saying something and then he blows the smoke back to me and he says something and I said, what are you doing? And he said, I'm praying. And he blew some smoke out the window. And as we're driving, he's like, I'm glad we met. He said, because I always feel like there's a reason for everything. And I said, why do you say that? And he said, well, we were supposed to go to Broken Bow tomorrow, but for some reason we decided to go tonight. And I was like, okay. And he says, did you hear anything walking with you? And I started getting scared. Sorry. And I was like, yeah. And he said, we saw something when we passed you. That's why we stopped. And I said, you're kidding me. I thought it was all in my head. And he said, no, it wasn't. And he said, I swear, when I stopped and asked you if you wanted to ride, he said, that thing looked at me and he said, it smiled. And he said, I'm not scared of a lot of things. A lot of things don't scare me. He said, but that did. And I said, what did it look like? And he said, it was tall and skinny, kind of gray looking. He said, and its eyes were shiny. And he said, I don't know what would have happened to you if you kept walking. He said, but, I think the Creator put you in our path. And I said, well, I'm glad he did. And they dropped me off at the hospital, and I was shaking. And the girl that was driving was crying, and she goes, are you sure you have someone coming to pick you up? And I said, yeah, my brother's going to be here any minute. And so I'm sitting outside on the bench outside the ER. I'm sitting there thinking, am I safe, or should I go inside? And then security pulls up, and the guy rolls down the window, and he's like, hey, what are you doing? And I was like, oh, I'm waiting on my son. He gets off here in just a little bit. My brother's going to be here to pick me up. He's like, okay. He said, well, I'm going to sit out here. And I was like, okay. So I sat out there with security till my brother got there. And, I started crying. And when my brother pulled up, he was like, what's the matter with you? And I said, nothing. And he was like, what's going on? He said, are you two fighting again? And I was like, yeah, that's it. And he was like, get in the car. So I get in the car, and my son comes out, and we go home, and he was like, oh, just forget about him, and don't worry about it. And I was like, okay. So my son and my brother sat down, they're playing games, and my dog starts whining, and he's at the front door. And I was like, well, maybe he needs to go to the bathroom. So I opened the door. I live out in the country. I opened the door and just let him out, and he takes off. And I was like, Bear, come back. And I mean, he was just like gone. And we lived down this long road, but at the end of the road, it looked like there was someone standing there. And my dog ran to about the middle of the road, and he's just barking like crazy. And I was like, is that somebody standing there? And I keep calling him, and I keep calling him, and he comes running back to me. And when I look up, whatever it is where my dog used to be. And so I was like, I'm not going to be scared. And so I stood there and I said, whoever you are or whatever you are not welcome here, and you need to leave. This is my home, and you are not welcome here. And my dog turns around, and the hair on him is like standing up, and he's just got this growl going. And I was like, it's okay, Bear, it's okay. And I'm trying to hold on to his leash because I'm thinking, I don't want my dog to get loose and go after it, because that's how I'm going to die. It's trying to save my dog. And so I turn around and I get him in the house, and I turn around, and whatever was on the road is gone. And I'm standing halfway in the house, and on my porch, and I was like, I'm so done with this night. And so I flipped on my porch light, and I locked the door, and my brother said, what's going on? Who was you hollering at? And I was like, no one, nothing. I said, I'm going to bed. I'm tired. I'm done with this night. And that's my story.
That was intense. Holy cow. I don't think we've ever had a story that terrifying on this stream, and we've had a lot of stories.
Yeah, that story still scares me a little bit because, like I said, I don't know what it was that I heard or what that guy saw, but it's another reason I'm afraid of the dark.
Yeah, totally
Or not afraid
understandable.
of the dark, maybe what's in it.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, everybody in the comments is terrified right now, I think. Wow. Well, I'm glad you're safe. And, walking along the road by yourself at night is scary enough, even if there's nothing out there. That's terrifying. And to experience something like that is a whole other level. We truly appreciate you coming up and sharing your story. And very, very frightening. I have no words. I'm speechless.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Mhm.
Wow. What do you guys think about that? Holy cow. Thank you, Harry.
I'm on edge.
Yeah, that was terrifying.
Yeah, I heard like a creepy noise. Like, well, I'm in my car right now, by the way. And I heard like a creepy noise, so I'm all like freaked out now.
Oh no. So here is the thing, guys. We usually call it at 2, but we do have a lot of people in the box. Thank you, Ollie, for the little heart. We'll let's try to get a couple people through real quick. And then we'll have to call it for the night. But we're usually here Sunday and Monday nights. So if for some reason we don't get to you tonight, we will be back tomorrow night. But we're gonna go for a little bit longer and see what happens. And hello, Ali, how are you?
Hi, I'm well. How are you guys? How are you, Chris?
Good, chilling.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I came on here to tell y'all something a little recent that has happened. Recent as in yesterday and today. So I'm not sure, like astrologically, there's a lot of things going on. You have that eclipse coming, the solar eclipse on April the 8th. We had the equinox and some of the like the Catholic faith, the Abraham, like some of the Abrahamic faiths, they have their own thing going on too right now. So there's a lot going on. I mean, Easter was here. So recently, what I have been experiencing is a heightened and opened sense of sight. It's not like I have not had this happen before, but it has become very random. This is like unfamiliar things at this point. So, for example, yesterday, I was, lighting a little candle, just doing my daily self cleanse, align my chakras and everything. And, I left it. I went to bed. I woke up this morning around maybe 11, um, tired as usual. But here's the thing, whatever was on that altar was pretty much in a line on the floor. How I know? I stepped on it. I was just going to the dresser and I stepped on it. This has never happened, ever. It was strange. Did some things. Took out a pendulum. Nothing. Like absolutely nothing. My cats don't have thumbs. My door was locked, so nobody could get in. So I'm not sure how that happened exactly, or was it deity, or was it ancestors? I'm not too sure. That's incident one. Number two, I'm just going out of my car. I'm going out from my house to my car, and again, like just a strange, freaky thing happens. And all I have are like 3 crows. They're not even ravens, they're just crows, okay? Just on the branch above my car, and they're 3. They're not flying away, they're not doing anything. I'm opening this door, they are right there. Mind you, they're being very, very freaky. Like they're just watching me. Birds don't act like that. At least not regular birds. I mean, they fly away when you get that close. And like, I'm slamming the door shut of the car. They're still there, looking at me. Like they're like fake or something, but they're quite real animals. That's incident number 2. So 3 crows. Could be an omen or something. Didn't really think too much of it. Next, fast forward. I'm like, I go to the park on a Sunday, which I usually do, and it's Easter Sunday, so there's a lot of people around. A lot of people. So I'm doing my walk and everything, and like all of a sudden, like I'm seeing apparitions. Now, none of these operations are very relative. They're quite random in nature. Like, what is a random lady doing sitting in the middle of the thicket, just like sitting there with a veil, right? Like it's just peach or something like that in color. I said hello. I was like, "Are you okay?" And just nothing. But I felt cold area. Like that's an apparition. That's ghost number 1. I keep minding my business. Ain't nothing to do with me. I just keep going. Again, we ain't gonna have a Gothica thing happening today. I'm walking. Something's really off. Hairs on the back of my neck are up, and I look behind me. Nothing is there. I keep going, and this is around like 2 p.m. I keep walking. I feel footsteps. Like I heard someone's walking. So now I'm just taking my earphones, like I'm taking my headphones off, and I'm just standing there for a minute, and I'm just trying to look. I didn't have a mirror on me at that point. My whole purpose of this was to do a power walk and get some exercise in. And like I just like I felt like there was some 2 people around me. Like I felt like there's 2 people around me. But there's no one there. There's not a duck, there's not a squirrel, there's nobody jogging. Mind you, this is a very busy park now. There's a lot of picnics happening everywhere. So I'm like standing there and I'm looking behind me like, well, who is here? Like I'm clearly hearing someone walk like real close to me. And well, I was like, I'm putting my headphones back on and I'm trying to ignore it. And I try to ignore these things and I keep going. And somehow, like, I just see rocks kick on 2 sides of me. Like somebody is either walking beside me or they're following me. So I have my protections as usual. I hold on to that. I say a little prayer and I keep going. And I don't pay attention, turn on the music louder. And this time I'm kind of running for it. So let me just ignore everything and just jog. So I'm trying to get my mind off of this. Then here's another incident. As I'm just going to my car, and this is a park, and there, mind you, there's families around where I'm at. Like there's kids playing and everything. I'm in the parking lot. I'm trying to go to my car. I open up the door. I'm setting stuff down. I went to the trunk, and apparently I like look up and all of my doors are open. All of my doors. There is nobody riding with me. It's just me. Just me. And here's what I did have, though. I did not have a mirror, but I did have a bit of salt and some sage in my car. And I don't know. Don't ask me why it's there. It was just there in the middle glove compartment. I have a 2021 Camry, so it's just right there in the middle glove compartment. So I just tore that out and I threw it in the car, and then I lit it up a little bit. I lit up some herbs to smoke it out, like some incense to smoke whatever it's out. Shut the doors, And I get in the car. I'm being very vigilant at this time. I don't know what the hell is going on. My energy is all over the place at this time. Like, do I pay attention to it? Do I want to be amazed by this? Do I want to be curious, and do I want to play, ghost hunter at this time? None of those thoughts, they come through my head, and I'm just like, I just don't want to deal with it. I look in the mirror at this time, my rearview mirror. No one's back there, and I don't feel any presence. So, not too sure exactly what is happening. Didn't do a reading or any of that shit. I will probably do one tomorrow. Let me see what happens, because I think I'm taking a half day. Whew, but today was a freaky Sunday. And those are the experiences I had today. And it hasn't happened like that. Now, maybe correlated because a veil is thinned. According to a lot of Abrahamic faiths, tomorrow, or today actually, is a very specific day. It's like a celestial day to where the angels come down, kind of like All Hallows Eve. A lot of people don't realize, but Halloween or a lot of other things, those aren't the only days of the year where the veil is thin. There's always like a period, right? Like if you had the solar eclipse and it's significant in spiritual energy or whatnot, it's not just for that solar eclipse. It happens before, during, and after. It leaves a lot of backdrop, a lot of residue, before and after and during. So it could be that. But yeah, this was very, very strange. Was I scared? No. Like, I wasn't really scared. So I wanted to say that was very strange. Maybe it's just because I'm not in that headspace, or I'm just freaking tired of everything. But yeah, I don't know if people are experiencing more than usual paranormal activity, or if they are seeing more cryptids, having more horrific experiences, or any experience whatsoever. If it's all of a sudden amplified, this could be probably the reason why. But I will have to get more answers tomorrow with counsel, and let's see what happens. But yeah, I don't know if you or Chris have had those experiences, Sarah, recently, of like spooky shit happening more. But yeah, this was whatever was happening was without reason. Like, it's just happening to happen. And I look around now, like before I got in the car in the park, and I was like, I wonder if any kids were around to do anything. And everybody was just eating lunch. Like, I would hear a child. I looked into the car too. No raccoon. I know they have thumbs. They could probably open the door, but no. Yeah, that was very strange. But one thing that made me very uncomfortable was, even if it's like a deity energy, I hope it was, but usually there's some sort of sign, and there wasn't any. Like in my bedroom, and my bedroom's like a temple, so I'm just like, what's going on? And it's kind of been okay now. In the nighttime, it's been silent. I went to the movies with my parents, so yeah, it's silent. Nothing's moving around. Let's see what happens in the night. So I just wanted to let you know that's happened in the last 48 hours. Yep.
Well, that's a lot to have to deal with in that short amount of time.
I'm doing everything. I'm doing everything in my power, really not to pay attention to any of it. And because like I feel like if I did, I'm gonna have to like I kind of get involved into something that I really don't want to be involved in. So I mean, it could be a lot of things. I've told this to one of my friends that was happening, and she's like, "Well, is it probably Easter related?" I'm like, "Well, I don't think so, because even in the Christian faith, like, I don't know, it's just too prescribed. It could be. It could be even like Islamic related, but nothing of the sort. I did suspect, though, somehow, some way, um, and like throughout the day, I thought it could have been a jinn. I don't know how much anybody over here knows about jinn, but I suspected it could have been that, but I didn't feel that kind of energy. Whether they're good or bad jinn, didn't really feel it. Like I've experienced jinn before. Um, but again, that's unexplainable. Bigfoot would have been a great explanation at this point. But nope. No, it was just those things that are happening. But the crows and my little pebbles, my crystals lining up in a straight line from an altar on the floor, were the biggest things that kind of worried me. In the sense that what is getting that close to me? Like, what's going on? What are these omens? If there are omens, is it a sign? I'm not too sure. What were these apparitions that I'm seeing? So yeah, it's a lot. A lot happened in the last 48 hours.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like it. And I've heard like several people say that they think, like kind of like what you were saying, with the eclipse and all that coming up, that more paranormal stuff is happening, or that there's I guess a spike in high strangeness. But I haven't had anything happen. So I don't know if the paranormal just got tired of me, but unfortunately, I'm not experiencing any action over here. Unfortunately, wish I
Yeah.
was, but
It could
yeah,
be
that's
because, yeah, I mean, and it also could be, like, some people were saying that they're having more than usual activity if they're sensitive. Um, my advice would be, well, I mean, in the next week or so, this could be a good time to go, you know, looking for it, and
yeah,
perhaps it might pop up. I don't know if that is good advice or not, but you're brave. So if you want to, if you have a little project, yeah, I would say the next couple of weeks are probably for any ghost hunters your best bet to try it out. I don't know, I'm just having this kind of feeling, but yeah, let's see what I'll talk with some like elders and my circle that I run with, and let's see what they have to say too, because I just put out basically a text and, hey, we're gonna go and meet up and we're gonna do some readings on ourselves tomorrow, and let's check this out, because it would be nice to have some answers, and I'll give you all an update. But yeah, just watch your back or the mirror.
yeah, yeah. Definitely keep us updated. Let us know.
Yep. Next up for the spooky stories, come on up.
We'll see you later, Ali. Let's see. Guys, I can't stay up too much later. So it looks like the box mostly cleared out. We will be back tomorrow night, guys. So if we don't get to you tonight, come back tomorrow, same time, same place. We'll be here at about 11 to do the Monday night stream, more ghost stories. We did pretty good tonight, Chris. What do you think?
Yeah, it was fun.
Absolutely. Um, So, sorry guys, we can't go much more. I've got to get to bed, but I appreciate you guys. Thank you all for coming. I don't know who to promote. Chris, do you want to tell them like where to find you, where to follow you? Everybody, check out Chris.
Yeah, I mean, if you're into horror, I just I make masks for a living. If you're interested in that, you can just go follow my account if you want to. But sir, how come you never plug your YouTube?
Number one is because if you direct traffic away from TikTok, they will push you down. So I try not to talk about it too much, and also because I'm primarily just on here these days. I don't really do YouTube anymore. I mean, I have one. I'll probably do some in the future, but
Mhm.
for now, we're mostly just here. And speaking of which, guys, be sure that you follow me. Turn on post notifications so that you know for sure when I go live. You'll know also, it'll let you know when I post a video. I've got a video that I may post tomorrow, but it'll be up in a couple of days if I don't post it tomorrow. What is it about? It's about river monsters. It's pretty cool. You'll like it. Lots of new videos coming, but definitely follow Chris. He does art stuff, and it is great. And thank you all so much for hanging out, and thank you to all of our wonderful guests who came on and shared their stories with us, and thank you to everyone who sent gifts and tapped the screen and sent Easter eggs and peeps. They were adorable. We love them. And we will see you all tomorrow for more spooky goat man stories. Bye,
Good night,
everybody.
guys. Bye.